Heading into our second series, welcome back to the NLC Full Open. I'm Scoundrel, joined by Jamada and a Silhouette. And we are here to break down the next series coming your way. Of course, we are going to have, I think, Viking versus Unique. So it's going to be a very interesting series to kind of get our teeth into. It is Norway versus Sweden. Viking from the Norwegian scene, and obviously Unique being the super team coming out of Sweden. Gulbug, thank you. Nice of you to join us on time.
I can't believe you've done that.
You know, there's a really good lesson that this caster taught me about shows, and he said whenever you should join a show, you should always be there on time. So yeah.
My god, I am being set up here.
All right, okay, let's get into the pick and ban phase. Lilia has been, I think, pretty much 100% banned actually in our tournament so far, and that's going to stay the case here for Unique on blue side.
At least tonight. I'm not sure about the whole tournament, but definitely tonight, just been permabanned, and Sharp had a really, really spectacular game on the Lilia as well, so I'm not too surprised to see Unique ban it away from Viking. So let's see if the trend remains throughout the remainder of this series, to be honest. I'm expecting it will, because he was so damn good on it.
Am I speaking, Scoundrel? Is that okay?
Gulbug, I give you permission.
Thank you, Scoundrel. Glad to be back, glad to be here. Now, I think that the strength these two teams have, while this is a heavy jungle meta, I think that Sharp might have the edge here a little bit as a jungler going into this, while I think that the Unique Esports Club is a bit better at actually using the resources rotating around on the map. So what I think we need to take a look at is how Sharp's move around and how you shut down him specifically, and the other side of Unique, you kind of have to take a look at, okay, how will this lead that indecision might get them lead directly to the laners, and how will they impact each other?
Yeah, I mean, they're not going much further on Sharp than Lilia right here. They're actually turning their eyes towards what feels like Zandia's champ pool with the Orianna and the Kali banned away. Lucian actually being banned. I mean, as Jamada said, we haven't seen a lot of Lucian getting banned in the series so far. Despite being one of the most powerful picks on the world stage on this particular patch, he hasn't had that much attention. The Nidalee will be the final ban here against Indecision. It does leave things like the Graves up, though, and we know that Graves has been a very popular first pick for a lot of teams in that competition, and it is going to be a blue one, Graves.
It's not the first time we're going to be seeing Indecision on this one. He actually had a great game on the Graves against Kova, where for many they thought that was an upset, and that's just going to be an instant response from Eski here, with a Pantheon most likely going down in the supportive role here. So that means we're looking for early aggression, we're looking for dive towards the bot lane, so it's going to be interesting to see what AD carry they pair it up with. At Worlds, traditionally, we've seen a lot of Jhin with it, but it's going to be interesting to see if they go down the same road.
Yeah, and it's going to be curious to kind of track the draft. I'm okay with this Kindred being locked in. I was going to say, because Graves can occasionally sort of in some matchups be considered a weak duelist, and I know it seems kind of strange to say it like that, but sometimes into things like Leo, even Elise when she was kind of in the meta, when you have something as aggressive as a Pantheon, and then you know you're picking into Graves, so you have this super aggro jungler that's always going to sort of outperform him in the skirmishes. Graves can't keep up with the amount of pressure that a bottom side like a Pantheon and a Jhin or an Ashe would be able to put out. So I'm a fan of the Kindred because she can kind of do the same thing and assist really heavily on these dives on the bottom side. Unique, though, they are going to respond with Ashe. I'm quite a big fan of just trying to sort of neutralize out this pressure with the range and the volley that she can put out. So from this point, you kind of know that Pantheon is most likely going to end up in the support role, so I feel like you just take something that can sort of dissuade the dive, and I think this Fresh Off is probably going to get locked in for that.
Yeah, I was thinking of Fresh as well, but then at the same time I was thinking, okay, what happens when we go deeper into the team composition? Because while Thresh can't be seen as a frontliner, most of the time he's more of an enabler with finding a clutch death sentence in the fight, so we are still in need of more of a frontline-esque from Unique here. So I want them to see if we kind of round this up with a better control mage in the mid lane, or something that Royal Cannon can be quite comfortable on. But now with Syndra and Orianna out of the way, I can only expect Viking to start pinning the mid lane champion pool as well.
See the Thresh locking. I guess this is because this is a Barlu special. I've seen a lot of this, I think, from watching Barlu play previously for Unique. It's something that he's just so incredibly comfortable on. I'm kind of liking the Viking composition, though. Ornn is always very dependable on the top side of the map. Obviously, we can see Pantheon heading down to support, where he is relatively impactful. We saw that on the world stage. However, the AD carries are surely going to get pinched from Unique here. Like, you can start to limit things like the Ezreal, limit things like the Jhin, I would assume, as the sort of the main two carries that you're probably going to be taking off the table. And that would leave like not that many carries that are at a particularly strong spot in the meta right now.
There goes the first one. Jin obviously coming in here. I think that the reason why they're not pitting the mid laners right now is that they're actually... Okay, that goes finally mid lane ban. Because I was thinking it'd be kind of ludicrous if there were no mid lane ban whatsoever, just because you think, oh, I can get R5 counter pick instead. But what we can expect from them here is, of course, the AD carry ban. And AD carry will most likely be picked up for a little ambivert. And then we're going to be looking at a mid lane counter pick. So with Ezreal out of the way, because I can only assume they're going to ban Ezreal, it's going to be interesting to see what they rely on.
Yeah, if they don't. Yeah, okay. So this is actually something I was thinking about when you see the Pantheon lock-in, is sometimes teams like to actually answer with global champions as well. So I was kind of curious to see whether or not Unique would sort of divot into a TF ban, or whether Unique themselves, Unique would want to pick up TF, not ban it away. But they're actually opting to remove it from the Pantheon team. I think it makes a whole lot of sense. And MF, I mean, they want an aggressive bottom lane, so I think that makes a whole bunch of sense to try and just layer in that damage. And now Unique, I'm kind of curious to see what Royal Cannon's gonna sort of sit on here. There's quite a handful of mid lane bans, to be honest. So.
We actually have Camille and Galio up. So Camille into on here would be perfect, and then you pair it up with the Galio in the mid lane, could be a really nice setting, because you need an AP mid laner on the side of Viking right now. You have so much AD damage, so it would be a great blind pick as well.
I think, yeah, the thing about Galio is you don't play lane versus Galio. Galio just clears waves and walks out of lanes. So, like, you know, Galio's, I think, a pretty solid pick. They go for the Mordekaiser because the Mordekaiser, as we've seen previously, is a pretty good matchup, or very good matchup into Ornn. It's quite difficult for Ornn to trade into him in the laning phase. I would be surprised with Yasuo with this comp. Like that's an insane blind pick to me. Ziggs. Okay, at least it's magic damage. It does. The only problem that I have with Unique's comp right now is that they don't really have follow-up on an Ash Arrow, right? The Ash Arrow would have to go into a hook to make something happen, I think.
Now, you would be surprised at the potency of somebody getting clipped by an Ash Arrow and then immediately being bombed by the Mega Inferno bomb from Ziggs.
True.
It will actually end up being a lot of damage. Just like earlier on in the season, you would occasionally see things like Bard Ezreal and then also another global champion, but I'm a fan of the Mordekaiser, actually, from Zombie Kong. It's a champion he's very, very comfortable on. And there's only really one frontliner on this Viking lineup. So he odds away he odds away Ornn. All of a sudden, there's no frontliner from Vikings. It's just full squishies, Silas the Bruiser coming in on R5. That's it. That's all Viking going to be working with. So I'm a big fan of this pick. And it's obviously balanced out a lot of the damage that Unique really needed.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a problem getting to the Ziggs and the Ash easily on this composition. That's the thing that, you know, that's the way I'm looking at it. There's going to be a problem unless you're finding like a good setup with the Misfortune ultimate and a good Ornn ultimate. There might be a bit of an issue getting to the back line. Gulborg, I see you pensively looking towards these two compositions. So please share with the class your thoughts on Unique versus Viking here.
I love the Silas pick. I think Sandio is like really one of the pivotal mid laners you got on the Viking lineup, and it rounds us up so nice. You can steal the Mordekaiser ultimate, you can steal the Six, you can steal the Ash. There's so much to work with. I think that is just kind of the pick that seals the draft there. I agree with the point that if you take away the Mordekaiser, the Ornn, it's just 4 squishies. But I take a look at the other side of Unique as well, and that's also just 4 squishies anyway. So it's going to be a really interesting fighting we're going to be seeing.
Well, I'm excited to get into this series of Norway versus Sweden. Casters, I mean, I better hear Jake just be out of the roof excited when I hand over to him. So, Jake.
Cheers, mate. Hello and welcome to the Caster Death.
Wow,
getting ready to go.
That was excited.
I was excited. I am actually really excited for this. We got Ziggs mid. I know you're a bit of a Ziggs player yourself. I know
Ziggs
normally in the bot lane, to be fair. So maybe those skills don't quite extend all the way. But we are onto the rifts. Get ready to go for Vikings versus Unique. What are you making these comp talks?
Honestly, I feel like both teams have a lot of tools. I think ultimately, I find it hard to favor one team in particular. I think it really comes down to execution here. I think there's a lot of tools for both sides, all in all. I do like the Mordekaiser pick. It was talked a little bit about how you can ult the Ornn and then there's no front line. But you can actually ult the Kindred, and then the Kindred can't ult to save people, which is a pretty cool one. And you can even ult him and then pull him out of his ultimate. So some cool interactions there. Obviously a good matchup into the Ornn. I feel all around, I wouldn't give a necessary edge to either side here. I think both of them have a lot of strength and agency. I do feel like it's really going to come down to execution, especially in those team fights, because if Ziggs and Ashe can remain safe, they will just dish out so much damage.
Especially the as we move later into the game as well, the ability just to smack down these turrets with that Ziggs is always going to be really effective there. So junglers both going to be moving towards their red side to start us off. Pretty standard start here.
Yeah, what came in but was not too deep, and the sweeping comes out from the Pantheon just to mitigate any shenanigans. Again, want to see what Sharp can do on this Kindred. See if he can stack up early, find some momentum on the pick. Because I feel like a big thing here is range. I think that's the big thing I want to highlight, is that late in the game, my concern for the Vikings is that their range isn't really high enough to deal with the likes of an Ashe Ziggs. And it's important that Kindred gets the stack so he can be a little bit on par.
Oh, Eski jumps in onto M-Test and gets chunked out in return. Obviously did get a nice chunk onto M-Test himself. M-Test is going to chug that potion, has some biscuits to drink as well. What's chomp on, so should be okay to keep himself in this lane. There's the volley poke, but we expect to see a lot.
And already much Pantheon can do at level 1. I mean, you have stun into triple auto, but after that, against Special Ashe, you really can't hold your own. So you have to give a lot of respect, have to back away. You see the arrow come across. And you get information from that, even if you don't necessarily see exactly where he is, you can kind of infer it. The fact that, you know, he's cleared his red, but his topside camps are up. The fact that you went over his blue buff, you know he's going to be on the bot side jungle.
Bit of information gathering there for Unique, as Zombie Kong's going to be able to push in a pretty large wave to Coolberg. We'll be able to catch this wave, but maybe Zombie Kong's going to get himself a nice base offers. Little cannon is going to shove this wave in. Actually does have himself a fresh nearby, so with the satchel charge into the flay, hook ready to go. This is going to be an easy first blood to the Ziggs in the mid lane.
Yeah, beautifully played. Setting the Ziggs up early, pretty huge, and Sharp's trying to go for this stack here. You should be able to get this, but the question's going to be whether he'll get out.
Well, can be able to get the smite. They're going to put everything down onto him. Hook is perfectly placed. Oh, Balu showing off a little bit here. He gets the high five from the fans.
That was dirty. And you put the Ziggs so far ahead already. It's really looking rough.
Actually, a tier of the Goddess build here for Oil Cannon, so not going for like that Luden's Echo build. Because one of the things I've learned from working with you for a little while is you had your Ziggs main area, or era, I guess. Luden's Echo is the big spike. The Lost Chapter's lovely, but once you got the Luden's Echo, that's when the wave clear spikes. What's the difference here with the tier?
So the thing is, you get a lot more AP. The scaling's better because you get more AP going later on. But your early spike isn't as significant because you don't get that extra wave clear, that extra burst damage. But like the mana pool is a big thing because Ziggs can actually burn through his mana pool quite effectively with such short cooldowns. So it's not a scaling. And the safety of the shield is also nice later. So overall, Royal Canin is investing in his late game. Not going to have as much pressure early, but considering he's 2-0 already, I think he's fine.
He might be looking for him. He gets caught out in the satchel, has the flash, but he's not going to use it in time. The chain lash comes down.
Okay, we've learned a lesson. This is what this game is going to be. It's just about sending several people mid and killing the mid laner back and forth. Not a bad strategy.
What means M-Test might be able to find some plates is actually Whamavert just about dodging away on that hook from Baloo, but he's still looking for him. Plate's going to get picked up by M-Test. Didn't see if that was solo gold to him. It was solo gold.
Yeah. It's really rough for Misfortune right now. I think he's going to walk up, so built to join. But that's still a plate down and a lot of CS missed.
I got to land those hooks, Baloo, but he does get the play back onto Eski. M-Test taking a fair amount of damage, but the aftershock did keep Baloo going for a little bit there, and they do get a light trade-off in the bot lane. Indecision indecisive on whether or not he wants to help shove the lane or recall, is going to finally come in and throw out the Q. This should just be a nice recall for Unique.
I like how those double buffs have just gone back and forth.
They're just going to go all game. They're not ever going to run out.
Permanent double buff. Expect to see Baloo come mid lane after his reset. Got a tempo advantage here, so should be able to actually be the next person to gank mid. There's a decent amount of vision actually set up, though, in the jungle, in the river here, so it would be covered from any aggression. Just this route with the control ward and that blue trinket there kind of means he can't walk mid freely. And in fact, he does actually opt just to go straight bot lane.
Yeah, wave's also getting fairly heavily shoved in. Indecision is actually going to help them push the wave all the way in to make sure that Royal Cannon is going to be able to get himself a base off. Probably got that lost chapter now sitting in the inventory, as the second Kindred Mark is going to spawn at the chicken camp. Indecision is already in the area, so not going to get picked up by Sharp here.
Yeah, quickly deal with that one. No real way for Sharp to contest this. Does still have that one stack familiar. Not gonna get another right now.
Now the question is this Dragon. Who are we going to see go aggressive for this Drake?
I mean, I feel like bot lane is just in such a better spot for Unique. Like,
And they've got the level 6. That's the big thing as well. Decision has spotted out Sharp, who has to dance of arrows over the wall. Royal Cannon doesn't see that zombie ward, so not going to be able to clear that one out. But Unique are going to be onto this Dragon first, and it looks like Viking are actually thinking about this.
Ashe is level 6. Ashe has no item advantage. I just don't think it's worth it because Ashe can just ult.
They are looking for it. They're waiting for an opportunity. Eski gets pulled back, and that's going to be the Lamb's Respite. Amavert caught inside as Baloo going to get the heal off from the Lamb's Respite. The Mega Inferno Bomb stolen away is going to be enough to secure themselves a kill, but Unique have already found 2. They're looking to slow down the mid laner as he's been pulled into the Death Realm. Going to get a heal off onto Zombie King, but he has now got the passive built up, and Indecision will be able to take this one. M-Test secures the kill. Beautifully played by Unique.
Yeah, could have told them not to fight that one, but ultimately Viking decided to go for it anyway and were punished pretty heavily. I mean, Ashe having level 6 was a critical factor, and although Sharp had his ultimate, it actually probably helped Unique more than it did Viking there. You can see how Baloo actually used it to survive for quite a bit longer. We do have a replay, so you'll see. So, I mean, Ashe is up in items. Ashe has level 6. You can see Pantheon tries to go in and is just instantly decimated. But this ult actually does more for Baloo than anyone else. He gets to survive for quite a bit of time here. And then that's Misfortune dead. Already a massive advantage out of this fight, and they've taken the Dragon. And then it's just extra cleanup onto Zandia here. I think it was the wrong decision for Viking to go for that fight, and I think I was right about it.
Well, Rift Herald was picked up by Unique, so they've got that. So we'll see where they decide to use that. The drone is sent out by M-Test just to spot out where everybody is on the map, and maybe catch out Sharp, who is actually on this top side of the map currently. They probably have a little bit of that information to work with. And M-Test, big wave to work with here, is going to just pop the lethal tempo and start pounding away at that tower. Fight picked up for him nice and easy. Shed with Baloo as well, as he's just weaving out and in of the tower range so effectively to get nice little bits of poke onto Coolberg.
Yeah, it's really easy with the Thresh as well, because you know you're not really concerned. Hypothetically, if some CC, like the Ornn ultimate comes down, you know you have the Lantern to get you out of dodge, so really comfortable to play up and starts getting some damage on this tower. Something notable is that we haven't really seen Royal Cannon able to do much to his mid lane tower. I actually would like to have seen an early priority for the Herald, because I think Herald with Ziggs is super powerful, but obviously the window just wasn't really there. Reset timings after that last fight were more favorable for Viking. I'm interested to see where the Herald's thrown down for Sharp overall. Bot lane tower is the one that's lowest, but I think it's pretty hard for them to go aggressive against this fresh Ashe.
Oh, Coolberg actually might be in trouble here. Did have that Shadow Realm available, but Zombie King doesn't pull the trigger, as Armavert needs to be a little bit careful. Does have Eski with him and his jungler, but there's 3 members bot side currently. Teleport not available to Zombie King, but Coolberg has his. So Unique maybe playing a little bit more safe now, but they're getting jumped onto. The Lantern will pull Indecision to safety as he actually has to jump back. The Call of the Forge God is going to get dodged out. Great arrow to save the jungler. M-Test saving Indecision's life with an incredibly clutch arrow.
Someone should have blocked that, honestly, and let the Ornn get the ult off. But yeah, well aimed by M-Test. Ultimately managed to get away from a bit of a tricky situation, and TP burn from Kuhlberg, pretty punishing.
Yeah, it forces Zandia up towards this top lane to go deal with the wave to make sure Zombie King doesn't get too much more. And this is just free time to Royal Cannon to go get a reset, but Eski now going to dodge away on the Flay very, very narrowly. Now another teleport's coming in, but it's going to get backed up. Ultimate comes out from Lamavert, and M-Test is just going to continue to fire away. Mega Inferno Bomb almost finds its mark. Not going to be enough, though, and teleport actually got cancelled out by Zandia. I didn't see what did that. Must have been Zombie King with the E.
Yeah, must have been. Only thing that interrupts it. But they do, although they end up losing out in terms of numbers in that bot lane skirmish, they get a lot of alone time with this bot lane tower. And you can see huge CS discrepancy opening up between the 80 carries. A lot of damage being put down on the tower. And this is getting close to the Ziggs threshold where you can just destroy it. 1,200 gold lead in the bot lane.
Crucially as well, M-Test is only 19 minions off finishing that Cole now, which means while we just saw the gold lead on your screen, it's actually going to grow somewhat. That was a really cool interaction, actually. I like that. So, oh, sorry, 16 minions off finishing the Cole. So that's going to be a big injection of gold into M-Test, who's almost finished that ball, got the attack speed boots, and also going to be spiking somewhat here. Sharp really looking for an opportunity to place down this Rift Herald, but struggling to find the opportunity, struggling to find the position to do so. Now, everybody peeling down towards this Ocean Drake. Looks like that might be the call here. The Ash Arrow lands onto Lamavert instantly into the cleanse. And they're going to be happy with that one, as Sharp actually finds the kill onto Zombie King. Put him in the Shadow Realm and finds out he's the one who's going to pay the price there.
Yeah, I mean, the power of Red Smite and the dueling potential of Kindred, pretty big. A lot of burst damage actually available with that Warriors enchant, so Zombie King just unable to do anything. And they'd actually get the Herald down mid lane and get a charge off. Definitely think it's the right call with that tower. Getting it low, setting it up for a potential take afterwards, but ultimately do end up losing the Dragon on the bot side. That's now 2-0 towards Unique.
Actually, the
Eternal Soul as well.
It's actually the Nash's Tooth is the first item for Zombie King. So prioritizing the split push for now as Indecision is going to find out Zandia. Looks to try and steal away the blue buff, able to do so, and the Lantern to safety means Indecision gets that away for scot-free.
I think
Do still worry about this bot lane. Cole will finish on this wave, and that's going to be the gold lead ballooning even further as the bullet time comes down just to clear out the wave.
they just need to rotate Ziggs down here. They should reset, send their bot lane mid, and then they can send Ziggs bot lane, and all he just needs to do is walk up and throw his W and it's gone. I don't think the Nash's first onto the Mord's fine. Gives you a lot of sustained DPS and the cooldown reduction as well. One of the critical things with Ornn is Mordekaiser is cooldown reduction is so important.
Well,
20%. Thank you, Observer.
it's lovely. With that, looks like resets are coming forward, and it actually looks like Royal Cannon actually making his way over towards here. Zandia steals away the Ash Arrow, so it's a little bit of a scary one to deal with, although M-Test still feeling pretty confident right now. Remember, he doesn't have cleanse.
I think the Ash ult is one of the best for a stylist to steal. Because not only is the Ash ult really powerful, but the AP scaling on it is actually pretty nuts.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's not even just like the CC that comes out, but the burst potential is actually pretty disturbing, in all honesty. You can even just, like, you can use it for a long range engage, or you can even just sync it up in your combo and it just adds the extra damage in, because like the damage is high, but it also has 100% AP ratio.
Whoa. Indecision now is going to start up this Rift Herald, so it wasn't the first one that Unique put their attention onto, but they are going to turn it towards this second Rift Herald. And with the Ziggs, there is that power, the ability to take a tower nice and quick, but first Tower Blood will be picked up by Lamavert on the bottom side of the map. He gets that gold solo while M-Test shares his gold. Now, looks like some attention is going to be placed down towards this mid lane. Royal Cannon can clear out the wave somewhat fast as the Ash Arrow is going to get hit. And now he's in for a little bit of trouble. Underneath the tower just gets jumped onto and popped. Eski puts up the wall to keep himself alive as Sharps looks for Indecision. A lot of damage comes out onto him as well. And the turret's going to go down into the hook, into the box, into the flay. Indecision jumps in forward. Kingslayer heal, not going to come down in time. And Indecision is going to get the blast cone out as he dodges out on the volley. M-Test flashes in forward. Very close man's respite into the bullet time. And Unique are getting destroyed here. One by one, they fall down. And Zombikun has to do something absolutely massive to stop this.
Yeah, I don't think he really goes into that one. Cleanse and Flash available on MF means really much outplay potential. I mean, this was so close, though, for the Stylist. Ult, great. Pops out of vision so that it's not seen coming by Roll Cannon. He just goes down in the CC chain. Great tanking from Eski as well. And then, honestly, really aggressive here from Zandia. And you can see Baloo uses the Ignite to try and reduce the healing. And it looks like he's going to go down in this situation, but there just isn't quite enough damage. Gets the knock away. I don't know how he dodges the volley here, but that ult saves him and then he chains back in out of it.
Unbelievably broken, though.
I thought he just inted it, but then the rest of the team's there to follow up, and the ultimate from Ambivir was just huge there.
Well, that's going to be the turret going down in favor of Unique. With Dragons down.
You know,
yeah.
Sorry, I keep interrupting you, but just you know, I think it's obviously nice that they're getting to that second tower, but like I feel like with the Ziggs, you should always get first turret. I don't think there should be a scenario where you don't get it. And like the fact that bot tower was so low and then MF was the one to get the first tower was a complete misallocation of lanes. They should have sent the Ziggs bot and let him get the tower, and then he would be able to wave clear against MF. I don't know why they left bot lane isolated.
Rift Herald's going to go down. They may actually be able to get it before the charge. They actually don't. They hold the satchel. This means the second charge is going to come out. Bullet time not available to Llama, so can't really clear out the wave too much here. That tower goes low, not low enough to get killed by the satchel as Zandia comes in. Here's the call of the Forge God. Viking are looking to fight. Looks like they're going to catch each other out in the Shadow Realm. That's going to be an easy pick up there. Mega Inferno Bomb clips onto a couple of members. And Unique down a member. Trading out here, though, 1-for-1. Jungler for top laner. Zandia, though, with the Mord ultimate, can separate members from the team as he's coming in on the flank and he's looking for an opportunity. M-Test going to get caught out by the flay, by the call of the Forge. Everything's just been thrown. Eski is jumping up and that's going to be a big old bullet time, but it's not going to be big enough. And now he has to flash the wall. Indecision flashes forwards, looking to chase for the kill. No collateral damage available. And Viking end out losing the team fight, and Unique will find their third dragon.
Beautiful turnaround there. The ult from M-Test so they could all just turn straight onto the Stylist. And as soon as Zandia went down, you could tell the team fight wasn't there for Viking. Viking had a good team fight before, but Unique are back in control of this game. 3 dragons to their name, equaling gold, but that 4th dragon is going to be the big turning point for this one.
Infernal Soul. Going to be so impactful here. Have a little look at that once again, though.
Yeah, so initially, it's actually a really aggressive play from Blue, but he finds that max range death sentence to blow Sharp up. Yes, they lose the top laner, but you take that trade any day of the week when there's a dragon fight coming up, especially because the Mordekaiser hasn't been that useful. And Zandia looks for the flank in this situation. And I think it's because, I'm not quite sure what happens with the ult interaction here. I think it's because he gets stunned.
Oh, it's just as he throws the ult out, yeah.
By the way, managed to decimate on the back of that, because as soon as the Stylist goes down, nothing really left for them in that team fight. It was kind of reliant on that flank to happen. And maybe you can question, did he come in a little bit too early with that flank? Maybe he could have waited a little bit more time. But either way, Unique managed to take that fight and come on ahead.
Bulldog now actually going to get hooked. Indecision has to run him down. The flash has to come out as the bullet time and the call of the Forge got layered on top of each other into the hook, though, into the Mega Inferno Bomb. And Indecision sends him packing with the collateral damage. Unique fight and the kill. And now they can push up into this mid lane a little bit more.
This is a really clean thresh play from Blue here.
Yes. Almost needs to be a little careful. There is an Ash Hour available to him. But actually now Viking, they want to fight here. Humbleglaive will spot out the Warden. Royal
this is the Ziggs gameplay that I was waiting for. This is the Ziggs gameplay. Tower killer extraordinaire. Finally get to see it. And Viking will push mid in return, but I don't really think there's too much you can do. As Unique just move down to contest and return. You'll get a couple of autos on the tower. 4-2 now in terms of towers. 1,000 gold lead. Not hugely significant. I'd like to actually take a look at the gold and see where it's standing out. So 1,000 lead between the 80 carries. That is mitigated by the jungle difference. The big thing is, though, that 3 dragon lead coming up to the 4, that will be the point where Viking not only need to take the fight, but they need to get that smite on the dragon.
Well, Zombie might be in for a bit of hurt here. Has got the shadow around to make it a 1v1 if he needs to, and is just going to pull Eski in with him. Conqueror Heal is going to come through pretty big for him, but not big enough. I say that as he makes it a 1-for-1 in a 1 versus 2.
I mean, just one of the powers of Mordecai is you can always just ult the support, and it's pretty much a guaranteed win in the 1v1, even though it's a Pantheon build and damage. Without his cooldowns, there's just no way he can deal with the sustained damage of the Mordekaiser. So able to trade that one out. Pretty well played there by Zombie Kung.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Lamavert has to use the cleanse. That is big. 1 minute 50 until this dragon is up. Dragon's soul as well, remember. MTS will have R again. The cleanse, however, will not be up in time, and that means Lamavert, flashless, cleanseless, could be in for a little bit of hurt. Zandia being chased down, throws out the Hextech Hosepipe to slow down a couple of members, and MTS actually looking to step away. Mega Inferno Bomb's going to land onto him. They use the heal. They're going to wait for the Lantern. He has to flash over the wall to keep himself alive. Gets knocked up by the Call of the Forge God. The Viking, that's all they're going to get. A flash from MTS and the heal, to be fair. So both summoners down on both of the AD carries.
I'd say definitely a hit, though, losing the flash there to Emtus. That would have been a big advantage to have.
Oh, Lamavert taking a lot of damage. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb. The Meteor secures the kill, and it's 2 for none. Unique have found their opening. Sharp slowed down, has to flash away to safety, and this should be sold to Unique.
Just decimation here, the aggression coming up from this roster, and they're able to follow up. They have the damage. They're actually looking towards the Baron.
They got time. It's 50 seconds.
I'm tentative. I'm tentative on this decision. A lot of confidence going into this, but it could backfire. It looks like Viking just win.
Yeah. They literally don't want to contest it.
I mean, I feel like it's not just that. They weren't ready for it. You can see that Sharp was heading straight towards the dragon. They kind of caught them sleeping. I mean, to be honest, I was feeling that maybe it's a bit over-aggressive with spawn timers, and if Zandia and Sharp and Kuhlberg ran interruption, but it seems like Viking went clued up, and Unique just kind of pulled the wool over their eyes. So, great play there. They get the Baron. They are now firmly ahead in this game. Dragon is spawning soon, so you just need to charge over there and take this one. But even if you lose it, it's not actually that big of a deal. This isn't a soul for Viking. They get 1 dragon, which really doesn't mean much, and I think
I'm not sure they
just let it go. Yeah.
They were looking for the Silas in the mid lane. Almost got it. Remember, you got the Ziggs, so these turrets are going to go down very, very quick. They won't need to use the satchel charge on this one, but they will be looking for the next one. Sharp farming up, not even a mark. That's on the opposite side of the map, and this would just be an open inhibitor at 23 minutes. This might be more. They're not even going to use the satchel yet. They've still got a massive wave to work with, and this could just be another shove. They are just going to back off here. Happy to give up the dragon, get an inhibitor mid lane, and see what else they can use with this Baron. Massive lead to Unique right now.
Yeah, managed to get a 3,000 gold lead. I think it's a fair decision to go for the push there, get the inhibitor, but it does mean that Dragon Soul is delayed a bit longer. And I want to see what more they can do with this Baron, because a 3,000 gold lead isn't massive. It is big, don't get me wrong, but it's not like guaranteed the game is over.
Slowing down the wave as well to make sure they get another wave before he time to crash into the tower. Zombie Kung is going to make his way towards the bot side of the map. Got the Leandre, he's got the Nash's Tooth, got a stopwatch as well, so he is really, really potent on the Mordekaiser. As Unique set up free in a bush to see if they can do anything here. Like you said, what can they gain with this Baron? So far, it's a mid lane inhibitor, and that has pulled Lamavert and Eski over there to deal with that wave, but now someone has to move over. Someone has to deal with this massive wave crashing in, all Baroned up as well. This tower is just being melted. Unique. They're going to get a top lane inhibitor as well to pull them away. As Zombiekin actually gets caught out for the moment, uses the ultimate onto Zandia. Zandia taking a lot of damage. Just look at the Conqueror healing.
Not even close. Not even close. He just absolutely beats him down.
Eski flashes onto M-Test. M-Test arrows away. Does get knocked up momentarily as he gets a blind off. Eski with the long-range spear gets himself that crit, gets himself the kill as Baloo has to flash away. He will lose his life, but at what cost? They're going to lose the last turret outside of their base here. Don't even use the Satchel to do that. 2 inhibitors down. 3 minutes until Dragon comes up. 3 minutes until Baron comes up. And Unique, sure, they lose their bot lane, finally. But they're just going to go back onto the map, and they're going to use the gold.
Yeah, but honestly, I feel like it's okay in this situation. Considering how the game wasn't in a great scenario, you have closed the gold gap a little bit. You managed to get 2 kills. It's rough, the fact that inhibitor is on the opposite side from the Dragon. But realistically, it's not the end of the day. You can see Sharp is farming up a Storm right now on this Kindred. Got 211 CS. In fact, CS scores across the board are pretty solid for Viking. So that's what's keeping the gold so close right now.
I would actually like to see Sharp's stacks, see where he's at. Obviously, probably a long way past the 4 stacks, but 5 stacks actually, so not really that far past it.
It's enough. I feel like, honestly,
you've got it, yeah.
If you got more, that's great, but if you're below 4, you're half a champion. It's not quite as extreme as like Kane Force, but it's pretty rough. Now, Unique are trying to push through bot lane and apply pressure. And essentially, this isn't really about taking this bot lane inhibitor because I don't think you can do this freely without Baron. What this is more about is controlling this jungle near the Dragon.
Yeah.
Sandy, they're not even here. I mean, I will say the wave play is fairly limited. They do have enough to deal with this, but
they have the bullet time if they need to. Sharks can take a lot of damage though, as Zombie can actually make his way over. Those bombs will hurt if they hit, and this tower's actually taking a lot of damage. Looks like they don't need Baron to close this one out. Kulberg almost caught out as the bullet time used a little bit too late. Lamavert is going to lose a fair amount of health, and 1 minute until Dragon. Unique do not want to overstep here. We can see that the ornaments have been handed out though. The Molten Edge onto Lamavert.
I mean, I just feel like not having Silas there really hurts their wave clear. It's limited anyway, but having Silas split kind of just cost them that tower. Sharp is a little bit chunked out, but they're taking this opportunity while Unique go for a reset to spend their gold. They want to push in. They want to try and contest Vision. But realistically, now they're going to have to reset again because the health bars are low. Eski needs more wards. It's spawning in 25 seconds. So this timing's rough. Looks like they're going to have to cancel the recall, but when you're this slow already and you're playing against the Ziggs, it's really dangerous.
Yeah, it's going to be really horrible. They've actually sent Kulberg got top lane to deal with some of the super minions crashing in. This is perfect for them. Kulberg does have that teleport though, so he's able to join when needed. Zandia as well, and now would be the time. Sharp waiting alone, waiting for his opportunity to get onto the Dragon. They're going to pull it out. Unique actually stepping away. They're putting some pings down into the fog of war, playing push and pull with Viking. Sharp going to step away.
Now, Unique are backing off here because they're scared of being trapped against that wall, and an Ornal would be devastating. So they're paying a lot of respect. And remember, there's a huge super minion wave pushing top.
Oh, there's the Axe Arrow. Get the heal out of the MF, but Sharp caught inside the ultimate. Yeah, Test is going to find the kill. It's going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Jungler down though. Indecision jumps back into the pit. He's going to try and take this in time. Didn't see who got it. It was taken away by Viking. Zombie King and Baloo now, the only ones remaining for their team. As Unique are trying to find the healing, trying to find their opportunity, but unable to do so. The Fresh goes down, and this will be Viking finding the ace.
Huge team fight there, and Unique, their impatience is their bane. Super minions pushing in top. They're about to be caught by Viking, and a dominating team fight gives Viking everything they need. They get the Dragon. Beautiful steal from Eski there. And we'll get the replay of the fight. I mean, this is just an overcommit. You know that MF has flash, gets tons of damage off the ult, and now you're vulnerable to the Orn engage. You see Rolkanin just gets bursted out by the Pantheon. And in this situation, you've lost 2 of your main carries. You just end up getting decimated on the back end. Graves tries to buy time, but the Mordekais are all stolen away. Super impactful in this situation. I feel like everyone played this team fight so well. Eski in particular on the Pantheon support doing so much work, but it was just a very split fight. are pouring Gage into these AoE ultimates, and Unique just throwing away their lead completely. And the thing is, we said it didn't matter if they got this dragon or not because they're one away. Well, they're still one away, and this is 2 dragons later.
It's starting to get a bit worrying as now Viking are the one who are 2 off that soul point. Well, 2 off soul. Turret's going to go down in the top side and gold lead in favor. Do find a hook off the Kuhlberg, playing back, and with M-Test with the slows, he should be able to do enough damage here. Knockup is going to get interrupted by yet another hook as M-Test secures that kill. But Viking, they've pulled multiple members, multiple ults over. Will get spotted out by the drone, though, on top of the Baron. But it's going very, very quickly. Sharp and Limiver able to do a fair amount of damage as the bomb comes through, and that will be Baron for Viking. It's a matter of getting out. Redemption to try and heal them up. Here comes the flank, though, from Indecision, waiting for his opportunity to find one of these carries. Can he get it? Gets the blind off, gets the Q off, gets the collateral damage down, and Indecision chunks out Sharp. Sharp jumps back in as Indecision loses a lot of health, but that will be the end of the misfortune. M-Test secures the kill. Sharp is able to get away scot-free, though. Keeps the Baron on his team. Zandia also has a Baron.
Yeah, Viking will take that. 2 deaths for Baron is completely fine, and looks like they're going to take these inhibitors again. But honestly, these inhibitors haven't really been a problem for the side of Viking. It's really just funneling more farm into their team. Zandia's fishing.
Has the chain lash available. Decides not to pull the trigger on that one. Might throw it out over here. Steals away M-Test's ultimate. Got the rest of his team, and gonna miss the enchanted crystal arrow, and that would be Unique, able to get away without losing a single member from that siege. They do get an inhibitor at the least.
Still, only getting 2 members, losing the Baron, not ideal circumstances for Unique. This has been a close game, but I feel like Viking are starting to find the edge. This next dragon fight gonna be a big one. Once more, Unique looking for that soul, but Viking with a chance to equalize the numbers of dragons. Now, Rabadon's has just been picked up. Royal Canin, huge spike to the Ziggs. Got some QSSs for Kuhlberg and Sharp on top of their core items. It seems like Zandia is pretty close to a Rabadon's of his own, so a lot of high damage spikes coming out across the board here.
Massive wave getting pushed in by Viking bot lane, so someone needs to get a deal with that on the side of Unique. Otherwise, that's just golden experience lost. M-Test, level 15, 1 away from hitting that final rank in the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, reducing the ultimate's cooldown as much as possible.
I think Ziggs can just ult the wave, honestly. They are sending the Mordekaiser, but Ziggs ult cooldown is so short, you can actually ult and it'll be back up before the dragon is.
True.
Especially with this much CDR this late in the game. Pretty broken ability altogether. But they will just send the Mordekaiser down to clear that up, continue to wave clear. It's a bit trickier with the Baron minions, but Ziggs has excessive wave clear.
Especially now for that, you know, the Archangels has been fully stacked into the Seraphs. He's got the Death Cap, he's got the Leandri's Torment. So the kind of weaker kind of trough you put yourself in by going for the Archangels build over the Ludens has completely evaporated. This is where this build's a lot stronger now. You've got a lot more AP to work with.
But the problem is, if you look at Zandia, Zandia's got an upgraded Rabadons. He's level 18 against a level 15 of Royal Canin, and he has an extra item. Pretty scary.
Yeah, he got that Flame Horizon as well, just very, very far ahead of his opponent. Eski will have his Edge of Night popped as Viking are actually seeing if they can find an opening into this pit, and they are actually the ones who are able to muscle their way into the mid lane, into the river, sorry. Vision is available to Viking, to Unique. Indecision's actually been chunked, and Zandia's found multiple members. Gets Ash Arrowed, uses the stopwatch already. Eski jumps onto Indecision, chunks him out pretty heavily. As Zandia steals away the Ash Arrow, he's going low. He will finally fall as Zombiekin's able to get the kill. A massive hook onto Eski in the backline into the Lamb's Respite. Zombiekin just buying some time. Landervert's trying to get the heal off, but it's a triple kill for Zombie. He's looking for more. Can he find it? Not going to get it as Royal gets it, and Zombie finds a quadra kill. Unique have done everything they need to close this game out.
What a chaotic fight there. Zombie going absolutely huge, and the damage they were able to get off. It honestly looked like it was going to go in favor of Viking, but a missed execution there, an overcommit, and the AoE from Unique shreds. The sustained damage is there. And it seems like in a flash, the game is over, and Unique take game 1.
I will say that was probably a little bit closer than it needed to be. That's almost the theme of this tournament so far. Teams
clean
getting
wins.
far ahead in early game and then struggling to close out. Viking did a fantastic job of keeping themselves in that game, but it's not done. It's still a best of 3. There's still potential for Viking to come back. And so far, we've had every series on this stream go all the way. So honestly, from the performance we just saw from Viking, I do think this is going to game 3.
I agree. I mean, I honestly feel like Viking handled wave management better. I think they made some good decisions regarding objectives, especially that Baron they managed to sneak away. And I honestly feel like the Baron from the side of Unique wasn't a good call. I think getting the Infernal Soul, getting the fighting power that's permanent was better, because honestly, they took the inhibitors and they just fed more farm onto the side of Viking. They just managed to funnel more CS to them. And that's why we saw the Flame Horizon come out. They managed to clutch it in the end, but as you said, that shouldn't have been that close.
Well, we'll have to see whether or not Unique can get their act together going into game number 2, or if Viking have what it takes to storm the beaches and take game number 2. We'll see you in a second after this break.
go by under the moonlit sky. It's the feeling, yeah, it's the feeling. Sun-kissed and having fun, oceans and summer sun. It's the feeling, yeah, it's the feeling. We know what ain't gonna change, yeah, we know the stars will never fade. We'll never walk away, make this our real life, just you and me, right where I want to be. Right where I want to be.
I know I'm a dad and everything, but I feel like my hair's falling out after that game. It was all over the place. So, Unique come out on top. Clearly, that was a really good fight at the end there. They definitely struggled to get to that point, though. It was swinging. Look, it might as well have been a US election state. It was swinging left, right, and center all over the place. Let's have a look. It was a good reference. Let's have a look at what happened in that game, though. Like, talk to me about the about kind of the state of the game, how Unique took control, how they lost control. Where do we go from?
I mean, we already drew drawing board. Well, let's go.
Oh, into the drawing board. Okay, straight. Let's go to the drawing
straight
board.
here. This is all right. I mean, I think I can cue it here. So yeah, final game, final fight of the game, and I mean, honestly, the initial setup doesn't really look too great for Unique, and I think the past couple of Dragon fights, you know, obviously don't go the way that they wanted, but eventually Zombie Kongen and M-Test on this camp, they managed to find out Zendaya. Zendaya also looking for the flank. It's kind of unfortunate that he face checks like this. Doesn't immediately get blown up and actually takes down Indecision for his troubles, but I mean, he's kind of the main carry of this team at the moment, so once he drops, it kind of felt like the damage on the rest of the team just falls off. Everyone eventually drops in this. Zombie Kongen, off of the back of not really too great of a game, to be honest, picks up all the kill credits, gets himself a quadra, gets the pentakill stolen away from him. It's kind of unfortunate, but it's just kind of how things go sometimes.
I know that Balu's score might not reflect it, but I really feel like he was the absolute MVP of that game. Like, he was an absolute smurf with some of these hooks. I remember one of those fights in the early game where he hooked over the Baron Ball when Kindred jumped, and it was completely unnecessary for the hook to actually have worked. But the fact that it did, it was just so smurf. I was really impressed with Balu's thresh, and you could see why he early rotated it on blue side very early on.
Okay, it definitely makes sense, and let's take it from that early game, right? Because the fact that we went from that early game to what we have just seen on the drawing board, how close that actually was. Like, how crazy is that? Because you took a look at the early game, Unique looked genuinely really good. Some good roams coming out from the bot lane as well. Balu getting kills in the mid lane, great into the Kindred that you talk about too, Xcandrel, and then some great zone control off the bot lane turret. As soon as you see it that the Pantheas are no longer in lane, they're just starving little Ambivert at the same time. Some really high level macro things coming in from Unique. But then we kind of hit the mid game, and it's still looking a bit good, but then a small mistake coming in there, and then when we kind of get to the late game around the third Drake Baron, it's just starts to crumble from Unique, and they're just making mistakes where you're like, I think this could have been a bit more optimized, and it ends up costing them so much tempo and advantages that for some reason Viking is just able to come back into the game.
Yeah, for Jamada, for me, it really felt like in some of those fights we were looking at, I was saying, wow, Zandia has come online, right? When he got to the late game, it really felt like Zandia had kind of cracked the code on how to deal with with these team fights, but they just weren't able to convert that. I mean, what do you think that Viking need to do? Because it's quite clear that I think they can compete with Unique. What do you think that they need to do to give themselves a better shot of being a bit more, I think, competitive across the whole game in the next game in the series?
Yeah, I'm glad you used the word competitive, because I think that's what they need to try and do sort of in the early game. They had this kind of setup where I was imagining a much more aggressive bottom lane, and they never really got to get that going. Like, there was no tower dives from a Pantheon. I can't remember the last time I saw a Pantheon in lane not manage to make a dive work, like, or even happen, period. So it was definitely a little bit strange. So I feel like they might have gone into game with a game plan, but they never really managed to execute on that MF Pantheon, like, you know, push waves into tower dive. So, you know, maybe if they're gonna redraft, you know, try and if they don't have a game plan, I think try and make one and follow it, because it just seemed like they were a little bit too lost in the early game, whereas Unique were a little more file and form.
I think it's quite easy. Still keep Sharp on one of his carry junglers, even though the team was falling behind, he was always ahead. And then get Sandian on something he can perform on again. Take something where you don't have to risk it in the bot lane. Pantheon is just one thematic of a champion. It means I will go in. That's all he does. He goes in. Pick something with a bit more flexibility yourself. You can also pick a safe engager like Leona, Nautilus, like that, if that's what you want to sit back with. But Pantheon is just so risky. I think you need to enable your key players, and for me, that's just Sandy and Sharp. So make them shine in the draft, make it simpler for you.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I definitely feel like the Pantheon wasn't used the way they intended on using it in that game, and I think kind of a wasted support pick in that essence. But overall, it was a really entertaining game to watch. As I said, it was going all over the place in terms of where we thought the game was going to end up. We are not done with the series yet. After a short break, we'll go into our second champion select and see if we can either level or close out.
Ain't I mistaken? I've been here before. All my body is aching, shaking to the core. Wherever you go is a heaven, 7/24. Now don't go be misbehaving, but I'm craving a little more. Can't keep my thoughts inside, don't want no place to hide. Can't get you off my mind all night and day. You always played it cool, oh, but I ain't no fool. I know you feel it too, so what do you say? Well, I'ma give it a try, baby. Don't let the summer go by, baby. No, I don't wanna say goodbye, baby. Maybe we should give it a try. Why don't we give it a try? Ain't no mistaken, I'm taken with you. All my body is aching, awaken anew. Oh, I think I'm in heaven it's true. Now don't go misbehaving, but I'm caving over you. Oh, can't keep my thoughts inside, don't want no place to hide. Can't get you off my mind all night and day. Yeah, always playing it cool, oh, but I ain't no fool. I know you feel it too, so what do you say? Well, I'ma give it a try, baby. Don't let the summer go by, baby. No, I don't wanna say goodbye, baby. Maybe we should give it a try. I wanna think about every time you look my way. I wanna make the most of this high, I wanna talk about every time you wanted to stay. I wanna make the most of this night, so what do you say? Why don't we give it a try, baby? Don't let the summer go by, baby. No, I don't wanna say goodbye, baby. Maybe we should give it a try. Why don't we give it a try?
Your eyes, they look me over, so close, we're falling further only time
Welcome back to the NLC Full Open. We are heading into our second game of the series. Now, to give you some updates on the other results, as I said earlier, a Barrage beat Team Singularity 2-0, but we also have a result from the second series over on the UKEL stream. Envision 2-0'd Riddle. Very, very cleverly predicted by Orcs. But Envision definitely potentially a team that we should be keeping our eyes on. They have now already qualified out of their groups, because remember, the winners of today's series will qualify and go towards those quarterfinals. So Unique are just one game away from doing the same. They took that first game here versus Viking as we head into Champions Select. Looks like we're just going to have a little bit of a reset when we get to Champions Select. Apparently one player has indeed disconnected. So yeah, let's look towards this series, Njamada.
Yeah. I think honestly, as far as Viking are concerned, like I said before the break, just need them. I think if they have a solid kind of game plan going into draft that they can actually execute on, I think they have a much more competitive chance at actually contesting Unique here, because I don't think they really looked entirely lost for a majority of the game, albeit I definitely have some question marks of Unique's sort of mid-game macro decisions, especially like giving up so many dragons. I think was definitely like more the fault of Unique than the plays of a Viking. So I think, you know, maybe an easier to execute draft, albeit I didn't really think Vikings draft was that hard to execute on, but more like a outright team fighting composition with traditional support perhaps.
I agree that it was very simple. You had the Pantheon and you had to go in, but that's also very narrow. You don't get that scaling object with it. So, okay, they were very competitive in the late game anyways, but imagine if they didn't fall that behind in the early game. Imagine if they actually had anything to stay relevant in the beginning. And I want to kind of see that. I said it a bit after the first game here as well, but I want to see Sharp on something where he can really. I want the Kindred again, no problem for me. I think he did absolutely amazing on it. I want Sandy on something like this again, where he can shine, where he can facilitate him as well. So make it easier for yourself. If you can get that Ezreal to watch the Leon, it's something we just saw with Dusty as well, how easy it is to play with an Ezreal as well, because he's relevant throughout almost all stages of the game in terms of what he does. So I just want to see Viking really strike back and hard and show their strengths.
And it looks like Viking have chosen red side again in this Champions Select. Again, Lilia on the ban plate here for Sharp. It will be Lucian banned away from Cannon. And again, I don't think much changing when it comes to the early ban phase here for either team. It will be Akali once more. Would not be surprised to see that followed up with was it the Syndra that was banned? I'm trying to remember what the final, it was another mid lane ban. I think they tagged it towards Zandia here.
Yeah, I think it was Syndra. And Viking selecting red side to me says that they're actually confident in playing on that side, right? Because there's a lot of mind games, having lived through it quite a few times now. When you're in these best of series, and especially when it's best of threes, you lose that first game, you're like, okay, was the side like the issue, especially during some patches earlier on in the year where people considered blue or red side much stronger than the other. So I like that Viking have actually stuck to red side. In all honesty, it says to me that they might actually come out hopefully with a refreshed plan that they can execute on. So Kindred actually banned away though, so we're not going to see Sharp on that.
Not going to see Sharp on Kindred.
Yeah. And that's already a really good adaptation, because no matter how you look at it, Sharp is just so good on that champion, and I think it's criminal if he gets it again. So obviously fine, Graves getting banned away again, so that means that Kindred, Nidalee, and Graves now away, so no carry junglers up and available in the kind of meta pool right now. So we still have the Hecarim or anything like that, but as first pick, Orianna was left open now. Syndra is still open now. There's a lot of more picks available for you, so it's going to be interesting to see what they will prioritize, and it is going to be that Syndra for Royal Cannon.
I'm happy.
That was banned away by Unique. Was it banned away by Viking? It was one of the two, but it was definitely
banned away by Unique. Okay,
yeah.
Viking banned Syndra, Orianna Unique.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm happy to see Royal Cannon on this champion. He loves it a lot, so very comfortable on it. And I would be surprised to see Syndra taken Orianna taken into Syndra like that so early. I would expect that Zendaya actually wants to challenge something like a Syndra pick in lane. So I'm expecting something more mechanical than that. Jhin though picked up. I'm always fine with Jhin. And then I think now we saw Hecarim earlier on in the day. I've been championing it a lot. I still think it's good when you've got all of these S tier junglers out, it just makes the most sense. You can just play from range with Jhin and then just sort of stack dive on it. So I'm very happy with Vikings opening, and they've adapted, right? They stayed on red side and they've changed up their opening picks. So hopefully they can just like play along with this draft.
So question is as well now, so Ezreal, Ashe still available. We saw them having early priority onto the Ashe last time as well, where they second picked it on blue side, following it up with the Thresh as well. So obviously those champions still available, but they are going to go in with the Kha'Zix here, which is a classic response to the Hecarim from the solo queue side perspective. I haven't actually seen the matchup too much in the competitive, but it can translate into it. I would highly doubt seeing a Jinx coming in here. I think it's going to be Ashe or Ezreal we can expect.
Yeah, the Jinx ban, the Jinx hover is quite the bait, I would say. Would have been exciting, I guess, but you don't see enough on the Viking side, in my opinion. So Ezreal, I think, is safe, obviously, dealing with the Hecarim dive. And what I would imagine is maybe going to be a Nautilus, I think would make the most sense with the Jhin right here, right? Or the Leona. So you're already sort of imagining ahead. But they actually want the Pantheon here. So regardless of the Ezreal being shown, they're still quite confident in running the Pantheon back and trying to most likely make some tower dives happen.
Okay, now we can kind of excuse it a bit though, because you haven't seen any support from the Son of Unique now. You can target away some of the loose Thresh here, which means you can get more priority as well. You already have the Hecarim, which is a really easy champion to dive in with as well. So now you know that they have a Syndra. You need to secure a mid laner that can always get the priority. So every time you have a priority wave, you have to move bot side. You have to just zone away the people or create a kind of danger zone. You don't necessarily have to move down there, but you always have to make Emtis and Belu play on the back foot now.
Yeah, and you should raise a really good point here, Gulbug, in the sense that the Hecarim and Pantheon combo is really nice. I actually would not be surprised to see a potential Galio mid. I know it's not, I don't think it's got the best matchup in the world into Syndra, but you can clear waves and you can just where need be, and I wouldn't be super surprised. Interesting that they banned the Leona. I've always felt that people consider Pantheon a decent option into Leona. You saw that matchup switched back and forth a lot at Worlds, but they will go for the Leona ban. The Orianna followed up, which was obviously teased a little bit by Viking earlier on, but now they have that option to go for their support and then maybe wait a little bit longer to go for a mid laner here.
It's kind of an out there call, but I'm wondering if Unique are maybe gonna look towards Yuumi just because they have the Kha'Zix with the Ezreal as well. It would leave him entirely vulnerable to the tower dives. It's just something that passed my mind, and I feel like it's worth mentioning just because of the potency of like potentially locking in like a frontline tank in the top lane for Zombie Kong, and then having that Yuumi there as well. It would make this composition hyperscale almost. And I mean, I said Zandia wanted to take something mechanical into Royal Cannon to try and test this Syndra, and I mean, he's done it. He's locked in the Blanc.
I'm a bit too afraid of the Yuumi though, because if you pick Yuumi with this Ezreal, you never get to lane. Like you cannot lane at all. It is going to be impossible. Taric, I actually think it's a great neutralizing pick here. You got a lot of healing if you can get the auto attacks down as well. But I'm still worried for them pre-6. That's really where we have to put our attention from this Pantheon and Jhin bot lane. So now we're only left for the blind pick of the top lane. We still have Dion, Camille, or Zion, all these power picks still up and available. Even GP if you want to have some globals in there. But it's actually going to be the Renekton coming in, and we are still playing on the Worlds patch. So Renekton was obviously very prioritized there. Granted, that was LPL top laners playing him. So let's see how Zombie Kong is going to do on it.
Yeah, I also think Renekton's a really solid blind pick top laner, just in terms of there are very few picks that can really nullify him easily. I agree with you though, Gulbug. I think you hit the nail on the head when it comes to Taric. It is a pick that I think they are going to struggle pre-6 like massively in that laning phase, I feel. And post-6, the Taric is the perfect pick to nullify a Hecarim Pantheon combination as well as the LeBlanc too. So like if you get post-6 and you can get to team fight situations, then I really think the Pantheon's the perfect pick. But again, we know Pantheon is picked to have those sort of 4 or 5 tower dives. Like people like to try and have tower dive level 4 sometimes on Pantheons. So there might be an area of the game where they can try and exploit that early on. We'll have to see what happens. Very briefly, Jamada, what are your closing thoughts on these compositions? Who are you favoring in this second game of the series?
I'm actually kind of unsure. I think both of these compositions have their strengths and weaknesses. I would definitely give the ease of execution edge to Viking. I think that, whenever you're running team fight-esque comps with dive, normally it's very straightforward, whereas Unique, they've got these champions where they kind of want to more thrive in skirmishes, but they've got tools to deal with the dive of Viking. So I think they both have their strengths and weaknesses. I'll edge it to Viking just for ease of execution, though.
Ease of execution has been the name of the game in our series that we've seen so far today. I think I'd be inclined to agree with you. The only thing I see about it definitely feels like a kind of a skill check skirmish kind of composition from Unique, because I feel if you get to full-on team fight situations, yeah, you've got the anti-dive, but it still feels like very single target orientated. You have to be looking to prize them apart in terms of positioning and the way that you play those team fights out. But well, I guess we'll have to see how it plays out. Let's hand it over to Orcs and Hitbrain to guide us through our second game.
Thank you very much, Scoundrel. Hello and welcome to the Castle Desk as we're moving on to game number 2 in series number 2. Unique have stayed on the blue side. Viking have stayed on the red side. Ease of execution was what Jamada was hitting on. Orcs, what do you think about these two teams?
I'm kind of agreeing. I feel like there's a mix of champions on the side of Unique where I'm not as confident with them. I feel like they have CC set up in the lanes, which is fine for the Kazakhs, but you're really relying on them sort of doing well within their laning matchups. And I feel like when it comes to team fighting, Vikings is going to have an easier time. I'm also not a huge fan on the Taric when you don't have something that kind of forces the enemy team to fight, because ultimately when you pop that ultimate, you want to get the maximum value out of it. And realistically, unless you're finding like good backline access or flanks, Vikings should just be able to kite you out while the ultimate's down. So not a huge fan of the composition of Unique, but it's not like they don't have opportunities to find success. I just really want to see indecision, not being indecisive and making some proactive plays around the solo laners.
Let's keep our eyes on Indecision. He had a pretty good early game in the last series. Actually, looks like Viking are looking for some cheese onto Royal Cannon. Flash comes out from Eski underneath the tower, into the Deadly Flourish, into the chains, but that's going to be the scatter of the week backwards, and it caused a lot of damage there, but now Zombiekin's looking to hunt him down. They just have to flash the walls. He leveled chains early inside the pit, and everybody's just looking to fight it out, looking to skirmish it out. Both of the mid laners are the ones that lose out here, but Royal Cannon, crucially, gets healed up by Balu and gets 25 gold for killing the LeBlanc climb.
Yeah, and now Zandia's resetting and have to TP it back in. Ultimately, that was like such an ambitious play. It's one of those plays where you go for it and you're like, okay, well, I've already flashed now, so I guess I have to commit. But like, stunning one to tower, even with all the damage that was layered and the CC, you never had enough in the tank to kill Royal Cannon, which you can tell from the fact that Royal Cannon didn't even up the flash. And now Zandia only has the chains. So just some auto attack based training coming out from between these two. What a wild level 1 already coming into this game.
And I do believe, because they did actually buff the LeBlanc chains, but I think that's not on this patch. That was a couple of patches later. So there was actually more damage on level 1 chains, but even so, very, very rough.
I don't think Royal Cannon's... Yeah, he's got this Scatter of the Week, so it's not exactly great for him either. Now he's got the Q, he can start doing things. But typically, you want to be able to have your distortion available. I think Zandia probably has gone QE here, which makes him a little vulnerable. Or if he's gone WE, he has less damage. But either way, Kerak level 1 and Eski and Zandia are the ones without flashes in this situation. You need to pay attention to see if they can be punished. It's overall a good start for Unique, and they definitely need that with their composition.
Early shove there. Nice for them. Now remember, LeBlanc has no summoner spells. Royal Cannon has all of his summoner spells. Sharp is looking to see if he can set something up. Balu actually already moved over and will spot Sharp out here. Ghost has been popped and Balu has the flash. Zandia does have W available with the distortion, but not going to take it. And Deadly Flourish actually will lock him down. Sharp comes in. They do get the heal off as M-Test just trying to put a bit of damage into Sharp. They've used the heal. They've used the first blood. Olimova able to find that one.
Yeah, it was just a very ambitious walk up. The critical thing is you only go for those plays if your jungler is with you. And in that scenario, your jungler's on the other side of the map. You don't know where the Hecarim is. And critically, you're up against a Pantheon. So it's not even like you win skirmishes. He's just so good at the early skirmishes that it's never a good scenario to be in. And Unique, they're overconfident there and get punished quite heavily.
They'll be trying to get a bit of a trade-off onto Coolberg. Is able to do so. That's that.
I think he's trying to stop the item being built.
Oh, that is rough.
Can't really do much there on the tower.
Did finish.
Coolberg gets his cloth armor.
That was shown. You see Royal Cannons going back to base. I would like to see Merc Treads come through very quickly in this lane. It's really effective versus LeBlanc, especially early. But for now, goes for a Dark Steel and an Amptome. So looking to build towards that Lost Chapter. Teleports back into lane as well to catch it. Got a CS lead here on the Syndra mid lane. And it's a bit of a slower start. We did see this in the last game. They were a bit chill early, and then suddenly things just exploded.
I mean, there was that chaotic level 1. There was also, you know, Blue dying. It looks like it wants to die again.
Yeah, Baloo. Knighted and low. I'm able to find that one with a 4th shot and just really, really messy stuff coming out here. MTES just stacking up the passive, trying to play in a vision. Got Indecision at his back. Indecision does have flash available. They're going to jump in. Eski low, but Indecision a little indecisive. Doesn't want to try and fully commit with the flash. That is just going to be it.
I'm really not sure what has happened with Baloo, because game 1, monstrous, absolutely monstrous. And then game 2, he picks the Taric, which seems a little bit non-synergistic with his composition. Feels a little bit weird to take this in this scenario, and he has just been kind of inting it these first 2 plays. Just walking up there to get engaged on. You know, I wouldn't normally highlight this as much, but just the fact is game 1 was so good. I mean, the desk was saying how he was absolute MVP, and now, I mean, he's MVP for one of the teams. So, yeah, I'll stop being so harsh, but hopefully he picks it up, because we've definitely seen so much better in this series from him.
Yeah, he's actually going to spot out Eski here. Royal Cannon coming in with the Scatter of the Week. Good Ages will keep him alive as he goes in for the stun as Royal Cannon. Chains will connect onto Baloo, though. Zandia does a fair amount of damage, and Eski does get chunked. This time, Baloo doesn't run it.
Nice, he's learning.
It's an improvement.
Gotta start somewhere. And ultimately, the thing with the Taric is he just scale incredibly well, especially in comparison to a Pantheon who does struggle a little bit in the later stages, ends up feeling quite squishy, and you can actually still make a big impact. We saw that from Eski in the last game, but also you do just become a little bit vulnerable, as Pantheon tends to do.
Well, we're seeing some rotations towards the top side. Royal Cannon getting a shove in the mid lane will result in the second spawn of the Scuttle Crab going over to Indecision, who is actually down at the moment, too Sharp as far as CS goes. Is able to equalize out with that. Remember, Sharp does also have an assist, so a bit of gold in his favor. Chains are going to land onto Royal Cannon here. Zandia playing this out as the Unleashed Power into the Scatter of the Week combo comes down, and Zandia flashes away, and Indecision follows him. A kill in the mid lane for Unique.
Beautifully played. So you could see Zandia was waiting for the Dark Sphere to come down so he could go back to his distortion, thinking dodge away from the potential of a stun. Royal Cannon expects this. He uses the ultimate to give himself a spear, and then he's able to land the Scatter of the Week Indecision with the follow-up. Just really well played. A nice patience from Royal Cannon. He knew he had the backup, and he knew he could set up the stun and get the kill.
That's really nice as well. You want to pull the Syndra ahead of LeBlanc. If LeBlanc falls behind, does still start to feel a little bit rough for you. Obviously, as we move later, will be eyes on him to assassinate MTES and chase him down. But you definitely want to be picking this to try and take over the lane and snowball that into other parts of the map. So for the moment, Zandia being pushed down, starting to pay the price a little bit. Royal Cannon goes back to base, gets the Lost Chapter finished up for himself and some boots.
Some pings coming out. Looks like Sharp might be moving over to take this dragon. Indecision is on the top side, so this should be a pretty free pickup. Always nice to get early dragons. Obviously, if you do start to fall behind, it means you're not as pressured by soul potential and not forced to try and contest each dragon. And obviously, if you do find yourselves in the driving seat, you can start to stack them up, look towards that soul. Cloud Dragon being the first as well, honestly makes it pretty high priority. As it means you're not getting a Cloud Soul. Although in fairness, Cloud Soul is pretty decent, especially with a Hecarim.
It's actually quite nice for a lot of these guys. Father Jin, but the base movement speed's always pretty nice. Cloud Soul, though, well, Cloud Drake at least does give a bit of cooldown reduction on the ultimates. Helps out everyone a little bit there.
Yeah, for sure. I actually think it's a really nice early pickup, a Cloud Dragon, because 10% ult cooldown reduction early is pretty significant, especially since ults are such long cooldowns.
Especially
and on top of that, like, you know you're not getting a Cloud Soul, because I mean some compositions really benefit from it. Like right now, we know we're going to be either getting Infernal or Mountain, and if it is an Infernal, that will be pretty rewarding.
Well, blue buff onto Royal Cannon. Once again, they actually are looking to see if they can find something. He flashes out the Deadly Flourish to change. The Unleashed Power blocked up beautifully. And Zandia finds the kill.
Says thanks for the blue.
Royal Cannon needs to start warding up that bush. That is twice now that's happened to him.
Yeah, and it's a nice play. I like the capitalization from the Pantheon. The point and click CC, easy follow-up from the rest of the team. And the blue transfer is a really critical thing that I want to highlight because it does mean that a lot of pressure can be put out by Zandia. He can more easily contest priority and look to roam around and make his presence known on the rest of the map. So timing was ideal there.
Yeah, and Sharp just playing neutral objectives, not even needing to gank. His support's doing it for him. Going to be able to pick up this Rift Herald, got that Cloud Drake earlier for him as well. So they actually just want to use this mid lane and open Zandia up onto the map as soon as possible. Blasting one finished up for Zandia means getting closer towards that Luden's Echo. Royal Cannon now finally going for the Mercury Treads.
Yeah, looks like he's taking your advice a little bit late.
I honestly think you should have gone for Merc Treads first in this lane.
I can kind of understand not doing it though. Just needing the extra mana pool and the AP to contest priority is pretty big. But it does make you more vulnerable. I think the thing as well is that it feels like this Pantheon in tandem with the LeBlanc and the Jhin it's just really hard to deal with. Like once one lands, the rest come in. And we saw that attempt on the level 1. Obviously, it wasn't really the damage to follow through there. But at this point, it's definitely rough.
Well, 10 minutes on the gold lead, 900 to Viking right now. Unique. They won that last game off the fact that they had a very solid early game and snowballed very hard. There were some hairy points in that mid into / late game. And this early game has been in favor of Viking. Viking did a good job to pull what honestly looked like a doomed game back from the brink. And sure, they lost the game, but it was close. It was not by any means a easy win for them. So Viking getting a good start here is a positive sign, as Indecision needs to be a little careful. Could be spotted out by these wards. They're going to just veer over the wall. They're going to Deadly Flourish. They're going to miss on that, but that is Sharp finding the kill.
Beautifully played. And honestly, praise to Eski there for setting up the vision. You'll notice how, Sharp ulted straight into that brush. And it's because if you look at the triangle of wards, they know exactly where he isn't. So by deduction, they knew exactly where he was. Completely tracked him through the jungle. It's not, I'm not going to say it's blind because I knew where he was, but Sharp had no vision in the bush, just ults in, gets the fear, the follow-up's there, and it was a really nicely executed play from Viking, in all honesty.
And I mean, look at the difference between these bot laners right now. Little has got an Infinity Edge 2-0 and 1 on the Jhin, but Infinity Edge finished up's the key thing. When you look at M-Test, Sheen, Tear, and Pickaxe, component items, but the Infinity Edge is so big here for the Jhin.
Obviously, getting an expensive item like that early can start building towards more crit chance. Puts him in a really solid spot. Swiftness boots, actually double swiftness boots pick up for bot lane.
Well, that's because they want to be going mid lane and jumping on Royal Cannon, who still has no Mercury Treads, so no tenacity to work with. It's just going to play nice and safe and clear this wave as close to tower as possible.
Should be able to pick up now.
So, what do you think Unique needs to be doing here? It's obvious what Viking need to do. They've pretty much started to execute on that, just moving around the map, finding the picks they need, and then transition that into a later team fight. What is Unique's game plan right now?
I think you need to wait for some better spikes on your carries, and you need to wait for an overcommit. Like, that's my kind of problem here, is you either look for a pick based on the Kha'Zix, maybe in tandem with the Syndra, but the vision control is so good from Viking, I think you're going to struggle. I think the alternative option is you wait for Viking to overcommit and then use the tower cult to turn things around. That's kind of like it for me. I feel like they're pretty limited outside of that, and you can see they are trying to find potentially someone isolated to jump on, but Viking, they're just grouped. They're just not giving these windows over.
Yeah, and Royal Cannon's going to have to step away from this tower. It's going to be those plates gifted to Zandia, all the gold in his pocket. Actually, Sharp picked up a little bit up as well there. And M-Test is getting some free farm. Is up in CS, but down 2 kills means the gold's actually not in his favor. And now Baloo may be found out here by Eski and Sharp, although he's the one to find them. Indecision waiting about as well with him. Ocean Drake is up, and maybe a small skirmish might break out.
The call here was definitely made by Kulberg that Renekton's missing. Don't opt into anything, so they opt to back away. They are kept safe in this scenario, and Kulberg actually gets a fair bit of farm picked up. So smart decision by Unique. They bring their top laner down. They sacrifice some farm top lane, and this numbers advantage allows them to get the dragon. So pretty heads up play. This will give them an extra 5 minutes before Soul.
They're looking for Eski. They've actually flashed in forward. The Dazzle's not going to hit. The Deadly Flourish will send them packing. Flash used by Indecision there.
Bit overzealous, but, you know, attempted to go for the play. Try to find someone isolated. Ultimately, they got the dragon. That's what they wanted. They can kind of lean back a little bit. There's not too much pressure on them right now because 5 minutes of time has been bought before the Soul. Is the way I always describe it. If you're behind and you get a dragon, it just delays Soul, delays Elder. And also, now learn there is going to be a Mountain Soul. Honestly, I think Infernal Soul would be much better for Viking. I think the extra damage output's actually pretty important. I think the Mountain Soul doesn't really drastically change much. Obviously, is valuable if they do get it, but I don't think it's really going to make things that much harder for Viking. It's not going to make it, like, impossible, whereas I think Infernal really is a massive difference maker, so...
Oh, no. He's
kind of looked down in that regard.
He's got people making a look up towards him. Teleport's available onto Royal Cannon if needs be. Sandia found out. It's actually Lambbert's been found out by Indecision. Does a lot of damage to him when he's isolated with that Taste of Fear. Now Zombie Royal Cannon. He's the one getting Grand Starfalled onto. Sharp's going to look for him. Scatter the Weak. Not going to stop him here. And that will be the end of days. A kill for Eski. Royal Cannon just gets run over by the pony.
Not really much counterplay in that scenario. Make transport doesn't really matter at all. Maybe could have flashed to get on the other side of the Fear. But I think maybe made the right call to hold on to it. Now, we do see Unique actually get the first tower bot lane because Eski left lane for such a long time. But Viking instantly answer back, not only with mid tower, but top as well. And they're looking for this Herald. So pretty rapidly answer back. And you can see Viking are just clearly in control of this game right now.
Zombie, he's just getting chunked out by Zandia as he was just moving over.
Yeah, it's rough. The LeBlanc starting to come online. Has that Luden spike. So can put a lot of burst down. A TP coming in. Looks like they're heavily committing for this mid lane tower.
Yeah, they want it. Scatter the Weak's not going to hit. Dazzle's not going to hit, but they're going to throw another teleport in. That is just the brute force from Unique to open up a mid lane tier 1 for themselves. And got a wave to shove into Zandia. Zandia should be able to clear this one out. 2 minutes until that dragon spawns up. 3 minutes until that Baron spawns up, but both of the mid lane turrets are now down. But the key thing here is Sharp has got a Rift Herald.
Yep. There's actually still a TP available for Kohlberg, and he's pretty strong right now. Normally we see Renekton potentially provide some trouble for Ornn in the early game, but he's up a level, he's up in CS. He is really hard to deal with. A little bit concerning. Even with the Blazing King, I'm not super confident in Zombie Kong's chances. Not so much in a 1v1, but more to be able to bully him out the lane, and that TP could cause some issues leading up to the dragon fight. For now, though, Baloo flashing in.
Ready for trade into a big Scatter of the Weak, into a big two-shot barrage. But here comes the curtain call. Zombiekin's going to do his best to block this up, but look at Sharp on that flank. Indecision leaps away to safely, and actually,
I can't believe Baloo didn't ult and got out of that situation. That was some crazy turret gameplay going for the flash stun there, but somehow managed to survive and hold on to the ultimate, which is, if you want to have any chance to contest in this next dragon, you need that ultimate up. But in honesty, I'm not sure you need to contest this next dragon. Again, it would only be the second for Viking, so you could give it up if you wanted. Right now, pings are coming out. Viking looking towards taking that outstanding outer tower in the bot lane. With the resets coming in for Unique, not really much they can do in this regard. So they are just going to look to push out their other waves. Still think they'll probably end up giving this dragon up, though.
Royal Cannon is going to spot them out with the pink ward, and looks like, for the moment, send the Renekton up to the top lane. He wants to go deal with this wave. You got your bot lane in the mid lane, and they're just dealing with these waves as best as possible, trying to farm up as much. But remember, Sharp does have that Rift Herald, and he's actually looking to hold it. Maybe looking to summon it after this turret goes down. We'll have to see. Dragon's spawning up in 25 seconds.
No reason to use it if you don't need it, and you can zone the Syndra off quite a bit of farm here. Viking have been really intelligent in the previous game about wave allocation management, but Kulba getting dived here.
That's going to be the ultimate, though, to make sure that tower's not going to do anything. There goes Kulberg. Here
No
comes
outplay
the
in that
charge from the
scenario.
Herald. Royal Cannon will find out Sharp. Sharp's speedy as hell, though. They will lose another turret for this, so 2 turrets for a kill and a turret into the Dragon. Viking are the team who are going to be coming up with more from these series of plays.
Yeah, definitely a trade down for Unique, but they are getting something which is good in this scenario. We are down in gold and pressure. Looking towards those mid-game spikes, though, Ezreal in particular will be working towards that second item pretty soon and has the mana immune stacked, so not too bad a situation overall, but
Yeah.
my concern is the Renekton being behind is never a good situation to be in.
Oh, look at that. Royal Cannon's so scared to step up to the wave. No one's there. He's just bleeding out farm, but he can't pick it up because, as our observer's showing here, completely dark. There is one ward in the red side. He just gives it up. He doesn't even want to risk it.
Yep, Baloo doesn't want to walk up either, so looks like he's going to rotate towards mid, clear this wave out, and Zombie Kong will take bot wave. He's going to start to push out mid, but with mid lane tower down already, and just the amount of pressure, you can see they all have to group up as 4 members and try and push the wave up and then rotate through the vision. So Lil Ambivert will catch this wave, and then they'll start to rotate out and clear out some of this vision and start putting their own up. But you can see how cautious they have to be moving through this territory that they have no vision of.
You're looking at the mid lane item difference right now. Zandia, Luden's Echo, Sork Boots. But I might have to hold that because they're looking for the fight. The curtain call's coming out and Kulberg looking for the opening. Shark gets chunked. Shark goes low. Then Tess gets the kill. Kulberg throws out the ultimate. Decisions looking for Eski. Here comes the Deadly Flourish to lock them down. The Dazzle not going to hit this mark. But that's a big true shot barrage. Zandia flashes forward, gets it with the chains, goes in for a little bit more. And now Unique, they've got low health bars on the side of Vikings to chase. The Blade the Ruin King active slows down as Zombiekin dodges out, and Zandia still very scary on this LeBlanc. A 1-for-1. Both of the junglers fall.
Yeah, I mean, just really nice play from Indecision there to go for that damage on a Sharp. Managed to burst him out pretty effectively. And bear in mind, this was a fight without the Taracle, and they managed to trade evenly. So by all means, I feel like that's a success for the side of Unique, especially with the goal discrepancy. They'll clear out this Scuttle Crab. They're in a pretty comfortable spot altogether, considering the gold looking rough, the dragons being down. They know that they can now start to navigate things, and those spikes have come in. Ezreal, sitting on that 2-item spikes, is in a really comfortable spot.
Yeah, and we're building towards that Death Dance next, most likely. Something we see pretty much every Ezreal build at the moment.
Because it's broken.
Yeah. Just like me, apparently, there.
You see an item advantage pretty significant in the mid lane. Zandia quite a bit of gold ahead, and he's gone a very bursty build with the Oblivion Orb Sork shoes to maximum penetration, which right now is doing a ton of damage, but obviously Death Dance for Emtus will mitigate some of the magic penetration. We've got the Merc Treads on Royal Canin as well.
That's a little bit of health as well from the Haunting guys. 2 minutes until that dragon spawns up again. Not the most important one for Unique to go for. It isn't Soul, but it would be nice. Denying Soul Point, putting it 2 apiece on the Drakes really slows down the pace of the game for them. Because at the moment, they are down. They are down 4,000 gold to the side of Vikings. Unique, they just need a bit of time. They want to get this Death Stance on the Ezreal.
It's kind of rough because if they don't contest it, then every single dragon from now on they have to take. It's not just contesting, it's not just winning the fight, they have to get the dragon, otherwise Soul goes to Viking. And you know, I feel like a Mountain Soul it's not game breaking in this scenario. I don't feel like you don't have a heavy shield composition that's going to benefit from it massively, and I don't think that like LeBlanc having a shield is going to drastically change your play pattern. But obviously it's not ideal, and when you're already behind, having to get through that extra shield is a bit painful. Now, somebody can caught out.
Yeah, uses the Dominus, has the Slice, has the Dice, has the heal, but he's not going to be able to get out of this one as the charge from Sharp will secure that kill. Down goes the top lane, and that is bad timing. 1 minute until the dragon comes up, and this just affords Viking all the opportunity to set up the vision control around the area. And I mean, if we actually go back over to that point over near the dragon, you can see Viking just have the vision to play with. I mean, a lot of that is traps, to be fair, but there is so much red on this side of the map.
Yeah, and I mean, if Unique want to contest this, they have to start clearing out this vision. At this point, I could see them just not going for it, but they have just reset now, and I guess we'll see. Looks like Indecision might be heading towards the Baron, trying to get some vision down there. Either way, they are looking to establish mid-priority first and foremost, and waiting for Zombie Kong to be up, so you can TP in. It looks like they are moving towards the top side, so they're happy to sacrifice their bot side vision. They're not going to contest the Dragon, but in return, they are trying to get some vision around this Baron. Indecision will be able to pick up that Scuttle. And that'll
They can actually burst through the Baron fairly quickly. With the fact that they got the Kha'Zix. Ezreal's pretty strong at this point. You got the Syndra as well. Hasn't got the Liandry's finished up yet, but if 5 members of Unique get onto this Baron, there is always a chance that they could sneak away an early Baron.
I feel like there's no way that happens without Viking noticing.
Yeah.
And as well, Sharp has Ghost and he's a Hecarim, so he can be there very quickly. Now sitting on the Death Stance and the Triforce. And we look at Zandy as well, has picked up the Rabadon. So big spikes coming in. We are now going to see one of these upgraded, the Rabadons. So Zandy is spiking hard. You know, you got the maximum penetration combo and you've got a ton of AP to back it up. Level 14 as well. I'm very scared of this little punk, in all honesty.
Yeah, and that will probably convert into a Morella Nomicon as his next item as well, which is pretty rough timing for M-Test, as you'll be burdened towards that Death Stance around the same point. Meaning, it will negate somewhat of some of his sustain he'll have on his kit. Unique. Starting to feel like they're in a bit of a rough position right now. You got 5 minutes until the Mountain Soul comes up. They got a LeBlanc who is incredibly far ahead.
The problem is, Tarek really doesn't do much against LeBlanc. There isn't many scenarios where you get hit by the stun, and the ultimate is just too slow to mitigate the burst. And as well, the mobility of LeBlanc means very easily you can just kite away when you throw the ult down. So, not a great tool to protect the side of Unique. But for now, things been pretty slow in terms of the game. 3 Dragons, not a Viking, but Sharp looking.
Yeah, he's actually going to get turned back onto here. Has to heal, and Sharp is just out of there. The Ignite ticking away.
You know what's the craziest thing about that?
What?
Take a look at his summoners.
Yeah, he didn't use Ghost. That's just the phase rush.
Yeah.
But with that, they actually are feeling it. I'm going to start this up. I've got a decision about as Eski will spot them out with this ward. Sharp. He's very quick on the pony, but back to the Baron. 8k health at the moment on it, and Curtain Call's come down. Zombiekin's been ignited. So he's popped the Dominus. Going to try and heal up a little bit, trying to see if he can find an opportunity to get a pick here. Sandy's going to have to jump away, and it's going to be the W from Lambert. Sharp's now popped the Ghost. This is the team fight for Viking. They're looking for it. Missing out on the call of the Forest God. Blue's all alone as they need to try and find their opportunities. Zombiekin able to survive. Here comes the Tarek ult to keep everybody alive and going for the moment. Coolberg will take the ultimate. The Scatter of the Week comes down, and Unique are able to get out. A massive fumble by Coolberg.
I'm requesting a slow-mo replay of that ult. Still fishing for it, though. They have HP advantage, and resets have come in from Unique.
Yeah,
ult is still available for Sharp as a critical thing.
M-Test and Royal Cannon needs to hang about to try and clear
DP
out the
flank
wave.
coming in.
They are looking to fight here. Sharp could just be on the receiving end, but he is so slow. So quick, sorry. They just can't get close enough. They can't find their opportunities. They finally get the slowdown. Indecision runs in. They're going to look for the stun. That's going to be the Jin down. Shut down. Picked up for Indecision. As Unique find themselves their pick. Is that enough?
A lot of it invested, but realistically, they're not in a condition to go for Baron now. Indecision losing this 1v1 heavily.
Just jumping in, though. Going to force the ultimate out of Sharp. That's pretty big. Blue actually has found him, but the Dazzle flashes in here. Blue looking for a little bit more. The smite comes down, and Sharp.
Yeah, I didn't think... I mean, he has Death Stance. I just don't think Tarek, without Ignite, ever has damage to kill him, so...
No. That was a little optimistic.
Yeah. Chop gets out. Cut down was pretty big. Oh, Zandia fishing for something. I think he can kill both of them here.
Did use the Mimic, so it might be a little hard at this point.
Zombie Kong running interruption will get them out safely. Yeah, a lot of chaos. Dragon spawning in a minute now, though. And if you actually look in the area, there's barely any vision. There's a little bit of deep vision for the side of Viking, but the Dragon Pit itself is just completely blank. So it's kind of who gets there first. And, you know, Eski's just chilling mid lane. I guess he's waiting for reinforcements before he wants to move down, which is a smart decision. But the area is kind of empty. And both teams are racing back from base to try and get there. You can see all the members of Unique are coming up mid to try and get mid priority first and foremost. Does mean they should be able to move into the area, get the vision control down. Does look favorable for them, but remember, this is Soul for Viking. And Unique don't really get too much other than a denial off the back of this one.
Got that Death Stance finished up onto M-Test, though. If they do get this Dragon, it obviously will buff some of the resistances he has and maybe some of the survivability versus this LeBlanc. They have found Coolberg a little bit here just for a small amount of poke, but such a strong Ornn. It's going to be starting to cut through him at the moment on the Ezreal. Ornament
now brought in for Jhin as well with the Infinity Edge. 3 items though on the Ezreal with that Death Stance. This is going to be a big fight. And actually this position for Unique, a little bit dangerous if the Ornal comes in.
Yeah, well, there's going to be the Curtain Call. Going to land onto M-Test, actually. They'll just have the Deadly Flourish, and now they jump to the Royal Cannon. He jumps over the wall, but they're looking for it. Trying to keep him alive with the ultimate. It's just going to come down in time to save the day. Here's the True Shot Barrage. Sharp's out of the fight as Zombie finds the kill. Zandia's trying to get a little bit more. M-Test is mopping up left, right, and center, but Baloo is in the middle of everyone. Gets the Dazzle off. He's in the fight. M-Test jumps back in, gets knocked up. He has a double kill to work with as he's got another Dazzle. Shifts out, looks for Coolberg. The triple kill. Eski's the only one standing. M-Test finds the quadra kill, and Unique turn it around.
Huge team fight there for Unique, and M-Test, their carry, unkillable with his Ezreal build, comes into the end to clean the fight up, and Viking, they couldn't kill Royal Canin quick enough. It took way too long. We'll get the replay there, and you see a little bit of a do-si-do backing over the wall here from Zandia, so he gets aggressed on here. Down on the bottom of the replay, has to back away, and Sharp sees this opportunity. Distortion, they go in for Royal Canin, and he should die here. But the healing comes in, he survives just long enough for the ult in to survive that, and then even with a knockup, more healing, and yes, he does eventually go down, but think how long he survived in this play. In M-Test, he's happy over the wall, just firing off Mystic shots, and at this point in the fight, the only threat is the Jhin. Baloo gets a stun, M-Test follows up, and at this point, he simply cannot die. He is too tanky, heals too much, and Eski goes down. The fight's cleaned up.
Look at that recurve bow and a QSS finished up on that base for M-Test, so even harder for Eski, even harder for Zandia to lock him down. That Blade the Ruin King is going to be doing so much work. Cosmic Radiance was perfectly timed there by Baloo, keeping his mid laner alive through all of that, but Vikings still are strong. They're still 4,000 gold ahead. They're still 1 dragon away from the Mountain Soul. Unique have their work cut out of them right now.
Executioners come in here as well for the Jhin. They try and reduce some of that healing coming in, because I feel like Baloo got so much value on the Taric in that fight from the sustained healing. Was really struggling in the early levels. Baloo did not have a good start of this game, but he's starting to scale up and be relevant in these scenarios. Now, TP's available.
They're doing it.
Zandia in the side lane, it forces the Baron start, but Viking gonna move over.
Yeah, here comes the Curtain Call. Sharp looking for his opportunity to get inside. Zandia will be able to take this tower, maybe take the inhibitor, but he's going to look to try and teleport in. Indecision jumps onto Sharp, gets knocked back. The Cosmic Radiance going to come down to keep everybody alive. It's back to Baron, though, for Unique. 2,000 health onto the Baron. That's going to be picked up. A late smite, but it still comes through. And Unique don't lose a single member, but they are losing their base right now. They need to get these off nice and quick, as Zandia is just taking these so fast, and the bases are getting interrupted constantly. Finally, Indecision gets in, but they lose a turret for that.
Big damage to the base of Unique, but ultimately they get the Baron and they don't lose a single member there. Rough trade, but realistically, I think you can be okay with that one. Still got a Nexus Tower left, and ultimately, the split push threat isn't actually that great from the side of Viking. I mean, Zandia is a threat in the side lane, but he's not that quick at taking towers and pushing waves, so...
Did Zandia have a pot there? It looked like that damage was quite high. I'd love to have a look. No pot. Okay, so I thought there was a... Elixir of Sorcery on there for the...
Imagine if he had the Elixir of Sorcery. Could have ended the game.
Actually, that probably could have been an open Nexus if he had that. But, you know, that's hindsight. It's hard to expect that that might be an option for you to potentially end the game. But now it's Baron onto Unique. They
Just
lost
sold
so
everything
much
for a
for
Lich
this.
Bane.
Go Nash's tooth as well.
Yep.
Zombie, you might be in trouble here. Zandia just jumps back in with another distortion, is able to jump away. But remember, Unique basically sold their base for this. Sharp actually jumps onto Zombiekin.
Oh my god, they're
He's
distortion.
looking to get him. Zombiekin will finally fall here as Sharp finds the kill, but what is the cost? What can they lose for this? Unique will try and crack open this mid lane turret as the curtain call comes down, and they're not even able to get the inhibitor here, and the collapse is coming forward. Gulbug has the ultimate available at the Call of the Forge God, but not going to fire it. Is Zandia making his way over. Unique being spotted out by the traps, constantly being placed down by the Jhin. A Sharp GA available, looking to chase. Unique just being routed away. And look at what's spawning up in a second. Eski has to be careful here. He's just interrupting the bases.
Yeah, I think they know they're going to reset though. Baron buff means they will quickly get back on the map. So honestly, not too concerned in this scenario. Triforce now being upgraded for Sharp. GA, as you said, completed. Viking, again, the goals in their favor. Feels like they're in a good spot, but the team fight execution just isn't there. They haven't been able to deal with the Cosmic Radiance. I think they need to find a window. Either blow someone up before the Cosmic Radiance comes down, or kite it out. So far, they haven't been able to do it either. Now, they're walking up a lot of damage on the Kazakhs.
That is a lot of damage. It's going to get healed up slowly by Baloo, but the Executioner's Calling will slow that down somewhat. Wave's going to get shoved in the mid lane, and someone needs to go deal with that, because remember, it's an open inhibitor. Xander jumps in, gets the kill on the decision. Jungler down, but Entest looking for the mid laner. The true shot barrage gets the flash out in time. Kulberg misses the knock-up on to Baloo, but Entest is the one to take it. Zombiekin stepping forward. Health bars are a little bit low. Mana bar low on the Jhin as well. So can't really do too much of an auto attack here, but remember, you're down your jungler, and Sharp is coming in on the flank. Deadly Flourish is going to land. Here's the Cosmic Radiance. Going to try and keep everybody up as Kulberg has to flash over the wall.
Disengage.
They're teleporting into the base. They're looking just to end the game here. LeBlanc's going for it. Zandia's in the base, and Zombiekin's just trying to get out. He's going for the teleport onto the fountain. Can he get out in time? Looks like he's going to be able to, but the interrupt's there. Shut down onto the Jhin has been picked up for the Syndra. Zandia can't do too much more. Entest is still firing away in this fight. Still firing away. 1 versus 3. Eski's looking for the damage onto him. They've got the res onto Sharp. Zandia's going to lose his life. His indecision comes back to life, but he's looking for the fountain. He's looking for the inhibitor. The fountain is going so low. He's able to get the kill, but
Oh, more coming.
Eski's coming in. Can they hold their base?
Yes, they can. Ezreal gets the reset, but they will be going towards the dragon. They decimate the base of Unique, and they're going to get the soul on top of that. Great shot calling there from Viking. The decision to send Zandia in with a TP. I felt like it was going to recall and TP back in the fight. Maybe that would have won them the game. Maybe they just sweep the fight with Zandia there and then end. But either way, they decimate the base of Unique. And we will get that replay coming in. So what I love here is the fact that they force the ult and instantly disengage. Kulberg knocks up, flashes on the wall route. Ult's down. We aren't playing with this. And then they look for the re-engage here. And this is when the teleport comes in. So they know they have to commit to the fight. And unfortunately, they don't have any CC to stop them next from going back. But they're doing so much work here. But Emtus is trying out of his mind to turn this one around. They do burst out the Jhin. And Emtus is just too tanky. He's just not taking damage at this point. Lethality from the Pantheon really useless against that much armor.
Oh, inhib's coming up though soon, so it's something they need to keep in mind if they want to try and find another one of those back doors. Teleport available to Kulberg. Kulberg. I'm used to Gulborg. That's the problem I've got here.
Kulberg.
That's the Blade of the Ruin King now finished up onto M-Test, so
it's like
might be able to build the front line a little bit better.
The captain of the Titanic was looking out the window and he's like, oh, Kulberg.
For anyone who obviously can't hear that, our producer unmuted his microphone and went, wow.
That's pretty good.
When the stakes are high, Orcs comes out.
How you remove tension in these scenarios.
It is tense. This is the difference between a 0-2 or a 2-0 for Unique and going to game number 3 and potentially the Viking turnaround.
Yep. Unique currently kind of playing a tower defense game, but with no towers, so a little bit precarious.
They're going to need
Vikings. They're just starting the Baron.
so much here. They are looking for Zandia on the flank. They've got the Void Assault, but that's going to be it. True Shot Barrage spots them out, and nobody's going to be near enough to contest. The jungler's on the opposite side of the map, and with Baron, I just don't think you have the ability to defend. You've got no towers.
So I think this is the right call, because I think if you go and try and fight the Baron, you'll get backdoored 100%.
Yeah.
The win condition here is that when Viking push into the base with Baron, you just team fight them. Now, Baron gives them extra stats, and they have the Mountain Soul, but you could still potentially win a fight. I think there was the right call. Obviously, if they build up Baron super minions, they're going to win. But the thing is, as soon as they get towards your inhibitors, you just engage. And that needs to be the game plan for Unique. Right now, they are looking for a pick here onto Sharp.
Playing it so safe, and that is honestly game defining here. They're going to jump out. He's going to shift away to safety with the ultimate. And that's game. I don't see how you defend now. Wasted way too much time trying to get a pick onto the jungler.
M-Test
isn't there. They're looking to try and take a second inhibitor here. It's an open nexus. You got 2 waves of super minions coming in, all baroned up.
It'll still be a while before the super minions, though, so Viking have to wait if they want them for reinforcements. You can see Unique looking to force a fight.
Yeah, that's going to be the ultimate thrown down. Lamavert is going to come for it, but Sharp is looking just to go straight in for the backdoor. M-Test will zone him away momentarily as Coolberg steps up. Here comes the curtain call. Blue going to be taking the fire here. The Sharp is just dealing with the minion waves. That's the last shot coming through from the Jhin. Here's the knock-up. And Unique, they get absolutely whitewashed in game number 2 of the series.
Pretty dominant performance, despite the fact that M-Test had that beautiful team fight on the Ezreal. It kind of felt like everything aligned for that fight, and that's what really came together for Unique. But for the most part, the team comp was just favored towards Viking, and the play was favored towards them. It felt like they came out of draft better, and they were performing better. And other than that one slip up with that fight, felt pretty confident they would come out ahead.
It's something we've seen quite a lot over the last 2 days, is a team taking the first game and then the second game getting a little cocky and going, oh, we'll just take we'll take a bit of a skill check, skirmish kind of, they go for a kind of more fruity draft, and then they just lose to a team but go, okay, we just take team fight and ease of execution. And I think we need to see back to basics here for Unique, because they are good at team fighting. But draft the goddamn team fight comp, and then maybe you can actually win the game. But anyway, with that, we're going to cut to a quick break, and we'll be back with game number 3 of the series after this. We will see you after this break.
Sunsets, high rise, you know you're on the floor, diamonds, good light, walking the golden door. Everybody knows that you want it more, more. Ice cold to the touch, we're gonna burn it down, bodies so hot until we hit the ground. Everybody knows that you want it more, more. Say it's not my
We're going all the way, 6 games, 2 nights in a row, 2 series going the distance, and we are into our 3rd game now between Unique and Viking. And I believe we did say this was going to be a close one. At the start of the show, we really thought this was going to be a bit of a slog between 2 very good teams, and that game was long. That game was very long, but in the end, Viking managed to sneak out the win. I actually don't know where to start here. Gulborg, please give me some direction with this game. I swear I need to know, like, almost what happened.
Well, in the beginning, we also said that Unique is the kind of team that shows some inconsistencies throughout series. We saw them do the same against Kova, where they completely dumpstered game 1 and then faltered in game 2. And I can say that with confidence, they have faltered once again. But you also think that it's Viking coming in with a way easier game plan, whereas the first game, it was kind of hard for them to play it out. But with the tools they drafted for themselves in this with the Hecarim and the LeBlanc, who had just had the easiest time of her life. I think Sandia developed so much pressure into this game that was so hard for the rest of them to play. You kind of needed a middle ground to play for till Ezreal came online, which MTES finally did at some point, but to that point, your Syndra was behind. Karthik didn't get a lead against Hecarim that you had hoped for, and your Renekton was essentially useless because you didn't play towards it at all throughout any point of the game. So it's a bit of a drafting issue and playing towards what you had of win conditions.
Yeah, and overall, like I said, going into game 2, I really wanted to see an adaptation and draft from Viking, like just lower the bar for execution, and that's essentially what we saw. And it just made their life so much easier, albeit that game was definitely very back and forth, so maybe saying easy for them wouldn't be the best thing, but definitely easier. And yeah, I just think all in all, Unique's inconsistency is really like showing their just like sort of weird picks. I wasn't too sold on the Renekton, like Goldberg is saying. I think you probably want something to sort of maybe facilitate the Kha'Zix in the mid game. Something like Shen was something that we discussed during the game, but the Renekton just ended up kind of not really adding much, and it kind of showed.
I mean, you both said it. You both called it correctly. Like, you just said that Unique, yeah, okay, the Taric makes sense for the anti-dive, but playing out team fights is always going to be in favor of Viking, even if the game goes the distance, despite, some of the scaling. MTES tried his bloody best, don't get me wrong. MTES tried his bloody best, and I believe, Jamada, we've got a drawing board moment ready to go, and I think this does heavily feature MTES from what I remember.
Yes, so this clip right here, it's just the dragon fight where MTES is trying his damnedest to make this game work. As you can see, I'm going to get this one rolling. Sharp and Zandia on the flank. They have a really, really good angle here. And Jin opens up, but, he's not really achieving much. And then all of a sudden, it's Zandia that, sort of almost gets picked off, flashes away. Sharp tries to find the pick, and then he ends up owing into the pit. And in the midst of all of it, MTES was in the pit. He manages to jump out, and then it's kind of just free hitting over the pit. It doesn't really get much better than Ezreal being able to just throw over Mystic shots over a wall like this. And then when he goes in here, I'm like, everyone was probably thinking he's mad, but it's the Ezreal build, man. It's too damn broken. You've got the Death Stance, the Iceborne Gauntlet. He's too tanky. He plays the fight pretty much pixel perfect, and he comes out with the big team fight win. But it was kind of just MTES, the backpack, the rest of the team in the backpack. But he just couldn't carry it all the way home.
Yeah, it's one of those things that even though that fight, because that was a kind of fight that I think that the Unique roster thrived in, right? Split up, they were able to focus down single targets at a time. It wasn't a true open space 5v5 team fight. They were able to utilize the terrain to their advantage, making use of that single target damage, and also the Dragon was doing some serious work for them. But when it came to just like those open fighting lanes, especially, like they were just run down. Like they really did not have the team-wide damage to be able to cope with a later scaling team on the side of Viking, and that really poses the question now as we head towards this 3rd game, guys. Who do you think takes it? Because obviously momentum in favor of Viking. Honestly, I think it's a tough one to call.
I'll have to stick with my prediction, still going Unique. Although from what I've just seen here, I would probably say Viking, but just out of not going against my own prediction, I am going to give Unique the benefit of the doubt and say they'll manage through. They'll get some priority lanes where they can properly play the map and not be held down as they were in game 2.
I don't have a coin in arm's reach, otherwise I'd flip it and give you your answer. It's really hard to say. I think both these teams really have just ended up matching up pretty well. I think it's going to be one of these weird game threes where, and I know it's going to sound stupid to say, but whichever team just outright doesn't make stupid mistakes on their plays, whether it's micro or whether it's actual general decision making, I think that's kind of, I know it's very stupid analysis, but that's the kind of game I
So what Jimado is saying here is basically the team that is better will win. That is his fallback. I won't predict.
Okay, I love it. I also think a lot. I think also kind of what I'm taking from that is execution based. Like it's going to be it's going to be a very execution based game. But also from what you've both told me, draft is going to be integral here because these teams are quite clearly teams that needed the correct draft to function properly. We're going to go to a short break. Our final game of the night coming up in just a few moments. We've got the third game ready to go into Champion Select. Unique on the blue side, representing Sweden. Viking from Norway on the red side. And Lilia on the ban again.
I like that. But yeah, I think this became way more interesting than it really should have been. I think we did expect something competitive, but not this competitive we got out of the two teams. And as you said, it is unique with the Swedish pride and Viking with the Norwegian pride as well coming into this one. Norway, just back when we go back to the Nordic Championship, have never really had much success. So if Viking already could knock out a Swedish team here, you feel good as that team. You like that.
Well, you know that the Nordic rivalry is very much alive between the Nordic countries.
Yeah, well,
proud as a proud Dane who seems to trump every single Norwegian competition. Denmark exports a ridiculous number of League of Legends players. He can sit there high and mighty on his Nordic throne. And as the UK, we're used to getting battered by everybody. So there you go.
That's right.
That's great. All right, so leading up to this, Unique actually are going to be choosing the blue side, which I find really surprising, but they're going to get rid of the Pantheon pick here. So they want to nullify that pressure that came out of that pick. Graves is still up here, so that's actually interesting that Viking is opting to, out of nowhere, just ban Cass.
Yeah, I think the tone of your voice kind of speaks for me too. I'm kind of lost on the Cassio ban. And Indecision's going to get his hands on an S-tier jungler here when, you know, almost the entire rest of the jungle S-tier pool was banned away. The only thing left up is now the Kindred. And
Yes,
whether Sharp, well, I mean, at least Sharp we know plays it, so I would imagine that this is.
I would actually almost say it's a big oversight realistically because of the fact that we know that he's one of Sharp's best champions as well, previously banned against him. So they actually intentionally picked up the Thresh as well to deny that specifically from Barlu. So you can see that they are very much afraid of that particular champion in this scenario.
But I like this as well here. You pick the on second rotation because you know that when they are picking their third champion, either they're going to pick the jungler for Sharp. If they don't pick a jungle for Sharp, you can get rid of some of the worst matchups just quickly for the on. So if you want to get rid of the Camille, you can get rid of the Camille. If you want to get rid of weak side as in GP, you can get rid of that. So now the decision is really on the side of Viking Esports. What do you prioritize? And I can only imagine that they will be prioritizing that jungler just because I don't think you need to make Sharp get target banned. I think you just secure that Kindred and let him do his job that he does so well.
Yeah, and just to add on to that as well, I really do like the pick up there. I think that realistically now, for what Unique are running, this Kindred pick really does a lot to like. Well, actually, no, I've started wrong. I think the Ornn pick is actually gonna struggle now with the Kindred there. I think that it's kind of an oversight when you know Kindred is gonna come in to then potentially draft Ornn when it can be kind of rough to have to deal with Kindred R on top of the engage that you thought was going to work, especially now you've got Ashe layered in on top of it. So I'm actually not too sold on the Ornn pick myself. We'll have to see what kind of direction now, though. I'm more interested in how Unique round out the comp than Viking. I think Viking are more likely going to round off pretty standard to what they've been doing for a majority of this series so far. Zande on a mechanical check champion, and then like probably something tanky from Kohlberg.
In my mind, I'm starting to think, okay, so we do have junglers still open to disrupt Kindred Ultimates. You got Gragas, you got Lee Sin. Granted that oh no, we've already picked Graves, so I don't even know why I'm thinking about this.
It's been a long day. It's been a long
really has been a long day.
6 games, mate. It's hard. I imagine they ban. I would be thinking ban Nautilus potentially second here.
I would like
Bard is also good.
Bard works well, yeah. And then if you're Unique, I think there's some merit to just removing Zendaya's LeBlanc. We've just seen it. There's 2 relatively good targets to try and execute in the Graves and the Ashe, so I think that could be a potential target for them to look at. The Syndra is also there, but Zandria, I think it's not really necessary. But with the LeBlanc banned, now I wonder whether Zandria himself will want to take the Syndra, because not only is it then a takeaway, but you also secure a pretty damn strong 2v2 in the mid jungle. So I think there's a lot of decisions to be made here for Viking, and it's going to depend on what they prior more for the R5 pick as well.
If I'll have to make a prediction, I'm going to say that they're going to counter pick for top lane here and save the counter pick for mid lane as well.
Yeah.
And I actually don't mind this. I think this is perfect with the composition you already have. Sion have the same purpose as the Malphite. I would have liked Malphite as well, just because you're going against Graves and Dash, so it's good damage profile that you're neglecting for them there. But Sion essentially serves the same kind of job, and we've already seen how good Sion can come in with the roams from top side, coming in where he doesn't really need TP, but will have his ultimate available.
And again, as Jamada said, saving R5 pick is important in this situation. Like, if Zandia, I think, has been a key facet of how you approach some of these games with Viking. So giving him that option, and look, Orianna's a safe blind. Like, you know, there are very limited options, I think, for R5ing into an Orianna, but at least you know now, at least you know where to round your composition out, you know.
Yeah, and I think sort of the sound pick is probably the most ideal tank in my eyes. I think if we take our minds back to the Fnatic series where I want to say, God, I've forgotten the top laner's name. He is literally the world champion now. No, he's not. Anyway, it was the game where Fnatic could not kill the Sion because they had the Graves Ash, and Sion just became this absolutely unkillable tank. So I'm kind of potentially worrying that as the game goes on, Viking may struggle, Unique may struggle to actually take down this Sion. And for Zendaya now, I mean,
it's been. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. My English, I struggle with it. And okay, we're actually gonna see Zendaya on a control mage for a change. And honestly, I'm kind of okay with this Azir pick up here. I think it can definitely work well if you play your ground on the Lamb's Respite. Being able to shove people off of that ultimate can definitely be something to keep our eyes on as team fights play out too. So I think it brings a lot of consistent damage as well, DPS, which they may have been lacking just because they have the Jhin, but the Kindred can back it up. But having that mixed damage of the Azir, I think definitely helps out this composition.
The zone control that you get from the Viking composition is really strong, especially because Orianna is classically a little bit shorter range than a lot of other control mages in terms of how she can impact a fight. So, you know, I think the Azir helps out here. The Jhin zone control's nice. And as you said, I think you're going to struggle to kill the Sion eventually. I really do think you're going to struggle to kill the Sion in this composition eventually. So kind of leaning towards Viking in that sense. But Gulborg, how do you see this before we hand over to the casters?
Well, you definitely need a Leandris at some point if you want to kill that side, because Ash and Graves is going to have a hard time with it. I think that we both have teams with easy to execute team compositions, but just that Kindred pick alone can completely nullify your composition of the side over Unique. So you need to take care of Sharp before you really can start a fight, or split them up. It's still really easy to execute, and I do have more hope for them on this team composition, but just know that there's a lot of pressure on Sharp, and if he executes on him, he might just carry Viking through towards his third game.
So are we saying, before we hand over to casters, that it seems relatively even on draft and it's pure execution?
I would maybe nod and say yes to that, yeah. I really think that that's the case. I just want to see Graves of a Black Cleaver and Ash of a Bork so Sion can actually die. That is my hope.
Let's see if Sion can actually die. Our last game of the night, Orcs and Hitbrain ready to guide us through it. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Scoundrel. We're getting ready to go into the final game of the day. And honestly, I didn't think it was going to get to this. I thought this was going to be a Unique 2-0, but with the game we just saw from Viking, we pushed it all the way to game number 3. And more importantly, I actually think Viking have drafted a better team here. I love what they've put together here.
I think it's pretty close. I like how both teams have defaulted back to quite sort of standard tank top lane. You've got your control mage mid, high utility support. Because when it comes to game 3, you as has been said, you want to go for that very easy to execute compositions. And realistically, I feel like any team that gets momentum here should be able to carry it pretty well. I think it's going to be an interesting one for sure. I think range is something that I feel does favor Viking. And that is my kind of concern for the side of Unique. But we'll see. I think there's a lot that can happen in this game. I think there's a lot of tools for both sides. And it's going to be a hypey game 3 for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely lots of tools both sides. I'm liking the fact that Unique have gone back to team fighting. And I think if one thing does favor them is they've shown they actually are very good at team fighting. Even when they didn't have a team fighting comp, they still team fought well. My eyes is very much on Royal Cannon and MTest this game. They are the two players who I need to keep my eyes on. MTest had a fantastic showing on that Ezreal in the last game, but unfortunately, they just fell too far behind in Baloo. Eyes on him as well a little bit here. Had some questionable plays on the Taric early, but set them back very heavily in the earlier stages of that last game.
I think Rakan is a good champion for him. A lot of playmaking potential, but Eski denying the Thresh is a bit of a statement, so we'll to see how that does pan out in the bot lane. Should be a fun matchup for the top lane, though.
Yeah.
Thanks just beating on each other. Actually, Coolberg, I know that seems minor. He actually really misplayed that, because he was going for the auto attack with Grasp, but he actually cancelled it and then got beaten up on a little bit.
Grass
Mechanic, what can I say?
So you do get a knock up here. Flay comes down. Eski's going to take a fair amount of damage. Is M-Test actually looking to put a little bit more into Land Revert there as well. Wow.
What one gameplay.
This is top lane, everyone.
Let's just stay on top lane.
Let's not.
Who
Please
cares about the rest?
don't hold me hostage, Observer. I don't want to watch this.
You don't get to see this enough, right? This is what the people want. Okay, I'm bored.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Pretty quiet so far.
Yep.
Both junglers cleaning through their blue side into red. Looks like Sharp's going for a bit more of a whole clear, although Indecision wanted to come down to the bot side and look for that Skull Crab.
Ooh.
Bot lane can pretty easily contest priority, so I think it makes sense to lean on this side of the map.
Oh, that's unlucky. Well, unlucky for Indecision, lucky for Sharp. Got a full clear, heading up towards the top side, and that's where the RNG favors him. So one stack early over to the Kindred. Doesn't really need help to get that as well, so laners stay in their lanes, and overall, pretty happy stuff for them. Hook goes wide, and Eski actually might be in for a bit of hurt here. First blood to M-Test.
Not really sure what to say on that. It was a little bit rough for Eski. Definitely felt like Baloo was a more comfortable Thresh. Yeah, but a nice punish. Baloo dodging away from the CC, coming in with the grand entrance, and then M-Test has the damage to follow through. Definitely a nice advantage to have already in this game, just in the 2v2.
Yeah, it really is. Although we do look towards this mid lane. Every time we look here, Zandia is just punishing Royal Cannon so hard. Chunking him out heavily.
It's not a fun matchup for the Orianna playing in the Azir, because he does have that extra range advantage and can just harass you down. You can't really be dived in this situation, though, so Royal Cannon will be able to pick up the farm. Oof. Yeah, you can't be dived, but you can definitely be chunked out and killed with poke, so does have TP to reset with, but has fallen a little bit behind in terms of CS.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to go for that TP back in. At least does get the tier on this base, so we'll start stacking that up. Although the chunk is really starting to be a problem here is now. Blue makes his way back towards his bot lane. Zandia also going for a reset. Teleport available to him, but may not even need to use it. May just run as they do find a knock up onto the Lampavert, but coming in for the hook, and now Eski gets blinded already. They're actually looking to turn this around with the Deadly Flourish. Sharp's on his way back. Here comes Zandia trying to save the day. M-Test putting so much damage into the mid laner, though, as he's forced to flash away, and now Zombie King's flash teleported into the fight. Doesn't actually have the ultimate, though, so kind of a wasted teleport from him. This does mean that they can brute force their way into this Dragon Pit and get the Mountain Drake for themselves.
Yeah, and honestly, Zandia TPing back, but being so low on HP already, is going to give Royal Canin some space in this lane that he desperately needed. Overall, play works out pretty favorably for Unique. Yes, there's going to be some CS potentially missed to the top side for Zombie Kong, but he's an on. He doesn't really care. And he is going to be able to walk back up and catch the wave. So, big win for Unique, despite no kills coming through there.
Yeah, perfectly good for him. Royal Cannon now closing in on that level 6 mark as well. Shockwave's going to be really, really nice for him. Gonna make some impact. We did see Paulson play 3 games of this in the first series of the day and had a really, really solid showing on the Orianna. As looks like now a decision, looking for a potential dive. Making his way forward as he steps out of the bush, make sure that they know that he's here. And he's just zoning them off their tower.
I think it would be a bit ambitious to dive, but the threat is there and it's enough to force them away. So maybe they feel otherwise, and they're going to get plates and deny a lot of farm, and Viking bot lane really struggling already in this game.
Much better showing here. Much better showing from Baloo as well. I think the main issue they had in this lane in the last game was Baloo had a pretty rough show on the Tarek. Now, Sharp is able to invade and pick up his second stack on the Kindred, so that's 2 away from the major spike we like to keep our eyes out for. Coolberg level 6 on the Scion. Zombie can also hit it for himself, so answer aspect's available. And the blue buff actually getting stolen away by Sharp, so actually stealing a fair amount from Indecision. That would put himself fairly far ahead of the opponent jungler. Indecision does spot him out though, so he knows that this is gone.
Yeah, he's up and farmed quite a bit, so in a couple
Royal
nice
comes in,
flash.
there's no mana to work with. Goes for the shot! Royal! Beautifully predicted! That was sexy!
That was sick. What a pog play from Royal there. I thought he was going to shockwave him away from the lantern, but he catches him mid-lantern. Beautiful, especially as there's a delay on the shockwave.
The ball, watch this. He moves the ball in front of the lantern's path.
Like, there's a delay here as well, so he has to predict. See, before he's even taken the lantern, he predicts it. It was just a great read on the timing from when he had to take the lantern, but honestly,
unbelievably
what a play.
good there. All right, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
excited now.
that's me. That's the League of Legends that I'm here for.
That's me woken up.
That's what wakes me up in the morning. Every day I wake up looking for plays like those, and it's delivered.
Sharp is actually now looking to pick up the Rift Arrow for himself. They have actually rotated a couple of members over. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow is up, and Indecision's on his way over. Coolberg does have the ultimate available as they do find a good hook, actually. Indecision may get caught out, dashes over. Really clutch there. Indecision's inside the pit, and that's Coolberg going down. Now they're looking to steal this one away. Sharp has to flash out, and the Rift Herald has been secured by the side of Unique. Eski is actually going to go down here as Indecision flashes into Zandia. Sharp's putting the damage out as well. And here comes the call of the Forge God. Zandia gets knocked up, but he is nice and safe away.
Yeah, it's actually not Unique who got that, though. Sharp got it. Sharp secured it. I saw the gold pop up on him. You know, the gold for the Herald kill?
Yeah.
So I think his Wolf just finished it off at the end. And Eski was the one who grabbed it. So, but yeah, Sharp got the kill credit. But even with that, you lost that fight massively. Unique absolutely stomped that one. And it was just the clear target selection. Coolberg was overextended. And we'll see that in the replay. So Huck actually comes out. I think he's aiming for blue, but he ends up catching onto Indecision. But they kite away from the Scion, and they all focus DPS onto him. Great ult from them to stop him from channeling the Q. And here, I think it's just the final Wolf. Procking with the E, gets it for Sharp. Eski dies to pick it up. But overall, just a massive teamfight win for Unique, showing their strength so far in this series. And yes, they lost the Herald, but a significant gold lead. And they are starting to look pretty scary so far.
Looking very scary. And test the man on your screen as well. 2-0-1 on this Ashe. Looking towards that Blade, the Ruin King.
He's been so good this series, honestly.
He has been very good this series. Another person who has been good, though, has been Zandia. Although this game in particular had a bit of a rougher go of it. Did have a good laning phase, but as everyone started to rotate around, he has been punished. And fantastic shockwave by Royal Cannon was able to shut him down. Now the dragon spawning up in 25 seconds. It is going to be that cloud, denying it from being a soul, but more importantly, will help them with some of those cooldown ultimates a little bit earlier on.
Just that emote, I'm like, you know when someone puts an emote up, you can only you can interpret the message they're trying to send.
Yeah.
And then Indecision just pops up an alien emote. Like, what does that even mean? What are you trying to hint at?
It's the
best edition.
He's playing mind games. That's what he's doing. He's now got them questioning. What was that emote about?
I will say, emote's definitely the best addition to League of Legends. I remember when they first brought them in.
Best additions are competitive as well. I'm so glad they enabled them in competitive.
I remember when they first brought them in, I and a lot of people were like, nah, it's going to be, be cringe, it'll be overcluttered. Brilliant addition. Just top tier. Can't imagine the game without them anymore.
They are good. Turn chat off, play with emotes. I'd actually like more emotes on the emote wheel. You only have 5 at the moment.
Yeah, it's unlucky. What's your go-to? What's your common one that you throw up?
I mean, I've got a couple that I like. I like the Bifriend, the Zoe one.
Yeah.
If you get a kill, or like you leave one of your allies to die because they go in too deep and you can't follow, you hit them with the buy friend. That's a good one. Dabbing Penguin's always a classic as well.
Dabbing Penguin is peak, honestly.
Yeah.
One of my go-tos is the Old Faithful, the thumbs up.
Yeah.
Simple, plain, every account has it, but it's applicable in so many situations. I also like Angry Cat. The Angry Cat's pretty good.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
Like the little noise it makes as well when it pops up. Just the extra little flavor on top. Oh, Sharp!
Not gonna get hit, but Zandia gonna get charged down here. The Call of the Forge got Baloo, just flashes him forwards and secures the kill. Eski also getting knocked up. Indecision throws out the blind, and that's gonna be a flash out by Eski. Quick kill picked up for Unique. That's 5-0 on the board, 2,000 gold up. And they're looking to translate that into some turret plates because they're up in kills, but guild's not that high. As Zombie can now getting chased down by Sharp, and Zombie's actually going to do a fair amount of damage. Pots the lands, respite to stay alive. Indecision throws out the ulti, and now Sharp's being chased down. Royal flashes after him and secures himself another kill.
So bear in mind, those past 2 kills, both champions were almost 100 to 0'd just by the Ornn and the Rakan. It's just not okay, the amount of damage they're capable of doing. Zombie Kong in particular is just doing so much damage considering he's supposed to be a tank. Well, I mean, he is tanky,
Ornn's
but
an
he's
assassin.
Yeah, I was going to say, literally, Zandia got assassinated by the tank top and the support. Rough start for Viking. 2 dragons down. It is also an Ocean Soul, which when you have these big, beefy tank tops and, you know, the likes of a Graves who can build sort of bruiserish, that Ocean Soul is hugely impactful. 6 kills down and 2,000 gold. It's going to make that 3rd dragon rough to contest, especially as it's going to be so early. I feel like giving that up is going to be pretty devastating again. Both these comps have a lot of scaling options, both strong in team fights. And for that reason, I feel like falling behind is almost even worse, just as a result as if comps are similar in terms of their strengths, their spikes, there's not like an avenue you can abuse if you fall behind.
Yeah. We've got the Rift Herald spawning up in a little bit. Plates have now finally fallen off, and 3,000 gold is the damage between these two teams. It's actually closer to 2,000 gold. It's not actually that bad.
I don't know how you said 3,000.
Because it ticked over as I said it. I looked at the front numbers and then looked at the back numbers.
Go look at the whole number, Jake.
No, I don't like that's too hard.
Too much numbers.
It's on the fly for me. Coolbug flashes into blue. That is just unfair. He's accepted his fate. Indecision will take a knock up, but Royal finds the kill as the Rift Herald spawns. That is
I like how Baloo hid, so he knew he'd waste his flash. Because if he didn't hide, like he was dead anyway, so you don't have to hide to kill him. But he just wanted the flash out of him. And this now will go down to Zandia. Royal can then be moving about a lot, so there's allow us some pressure. Oh.
Okay. He was just sending the message going, I can kill you.
I believe it.
I'm fairly certain he can. Do you see how much damage that ult did alone? Imagine if he was fucking brittle in that.
Yep. A lot of damage. A lot of damage for sure.
Well, Rift Herald's been secured. First Turret Blood was picked up for Viking, which is nice for them. They've actually got double teleport. They're looking for M-Test and Baloo, but they're just going to commit for the tower here. Coolbug going to step up forward. M-Test now needs to jump away, gets the flash out, beautifully timed. And Zandia trying to do his best. They get the shields, they got the backup. Here comes Royal, looking to mop this one up. Vikings go for the play, and Unique punish them hard. It's going to be a double kill for Royal Cannon.
Beautiful play. The flash from M-Test and the kiting as well. So stellar. And Rolkin in. He may not be mid lane long enough to keep his tower up, but he's everywhere else and now has 5 kills on the board. Unique doing what we've seen consistently in this tournament. Strong game 1, rough game 2, and bouncing back for a crushing game 3. It's not over yet, but 9-0 has to sting for Viking.
Especially after that game 2. Considering how they were able to get ahead and pull that one out, to push it to game 3, to then get absolutely rolled. It's not over yet, though. The Rift Herald is up, 2 dragons are up, and we're looking at an Ocean Drake spawning up. If this is picked up by Unique, it's going to be a very, very early Ocean Soul. Rift Herald's going to get spawned out here, and it looks like they're going to use that as their opportunity to push open another turret for themselves. They're not going to charge into the second turret, but Sharp, waiting about in the wings, has been spotted out, I believe. And Unique, they will pick this one up. Sharp's just going to go for his mark.
Which is something, but honestly, losing mid tower and their dragon. What do you think, Jake? Is it even trade?
I'd call that a pretty rough one, if I'm going to be honest. It depends. Was that his 4th stack or his 3rd stack?
This was the greatest trade deal in the history of trade deals.
Not like this. That's going to be a 2-man shockwave. Oh my lord, they are down in the arrow! Forces the flash from Sharp.
Yeah, that doesn't save you though.
They were once the greatest raiders in Europe, but the Vikings, a shadow of their former self.
I mean,
12
Graves
and
has a
0,
gun.
Unique, just looking fantastic in game number 3.
Graves has a gun. Vikings can't compete with that. Well, I get a tower at least. They'll lose one,
Yeah.
but they'll get one. So that's something.
To be fair,
7-0 on the
actually-
Orianna.
Actually, running this on skin versus Vikings is it's actually kind of spicy because it's like a Thunder God one. I mean, the Thunder
True.
God actually it's like an Odin skin, isn't it?
True. Why didn't
Or 4? No,
Zombie
it's
Kong-
4, isn't it? Because 4
Yeah.
was whenever he hit
Thor is thunder. How can you how can you mix that up?
Because Odin's like the big daddy god.
Well, so you're sort of relating to Greek mythology where the big daddy god is the one who has thunder.
No, Odin is.
No, but what I'm saying is you're equating the thunder.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was getting a little muddled up there.
Yeah.
Before he uses it at whatever, because he was a crafter with a hand anvil, and every time he struck his anvil, that's what created lightning in the sky. It's a Viking belief there. Royal, looking to...
Oh, Rolkinen had the flash. Could have gone for that, but decided against it. Definitely the correct decision.
Yeah, absolutely the correct decision. He's got Mega stacks. He doesn't want to start losing those yet.
Just you were saying about the Thunderlord skin for Ornn. Why didn't Zombie Kong just use one of the many other skins for Ornn that are available? Come on, Jake. Why didn't you name some?
We're getting Elderwood. It's coming.
When?
Christmas.
Why?
I don't think that's official. I saw a thing online. Apparently we're getting our 3rd Lux skin of the year. She's getting a winter skin, is what I heard. But I mean, I'm just talking rumors here. I'm talking rumors. I don't know anything.
Ornn mains everywhere rejoice. We're getting another Lux skin that you can look at.
I'm excited. I love Lux. I wanted a winter skin for ages.
To be fair, I think Ornn mains kind of deserve.
Oh no! Bye Jin. Good flash, but good cleanse, and Blue actually going to be able to get out.
Never mind.
He did everything in his power to escape, and that's why Royal held the flash. I do
like how
believe
Coolbig's he's just literally just side laning, just like killing minions, taking towers, chilling. He's on his own.
Cucumber right now, just split pushing away.
Playing the PVM game. This series has devolved quickly, Jake.
I was going to ask you, while we got an opportunity, if you could have a champion based off something, what would you want it? Like, let's say you were told to give like a theme for the next champion. Like, I'm not talking like, whatever you want, like Orianna as a robot. What kind of theme would you like?
Ooh. That's a broad, difficult question
I want
to
an
answer.
otter champion.
You want a what?
I want an otter champion. And maybe their passive is something to do with a river. They could be like a jungler or a support.
Okay.
I think that'd be great. We haven't got an otter.
Okay, there's a lot of things we don't have, Jake. You say otter as if like, oh, we have everything but an otter. No, there's a lot of things.
Right,
we don't
we've
have.
got a god who forges stuff. We've got a dude with a shotgun. We got a dude with a sniper rifle who's also a
Do we have a
murderer.
lion? Do we have a jaguar?
robot.
Do we have an
we have
elephant?
Nidalee.
She's a cougar.
Yeah, but it depends on what skin you're running. It's kind of hard on that front.
Is it?
Yeah, look, we got Rengar, Yuumi, and Nidalee. We got 3 cats already.
All right, we have Nami. Nami's a sea creature, so,
That's a mermaid versus an otter. That's a bit different. Uh-oh. Balloon, no! Flash is out. He's actually out of there. The Asher is coming in. You're going to find a stun onto Lamavert. He's able to cleanse it out. Indecision throws a massive collateral damage down. And Zombican gets the knock-up. He's tanking everything right now. The curtain is going to get called, but the shockwave flank from Royal finds him everything. A double kill for him. Make it a triple as MTS cashes in on the 4th. This is Ocean Soul for Unique.
Yep, that is Soul. That is a devastating blow to the side of Viking, and Viking still yet to get a kill. That's rough.
Oh no.
Fizz is vaguely similar to an Otter. So I feel like if you're making the argument that Nidalee and Rengar are similar to a lion, you know.
Nidalee is literally a cat. Okay. Maybe
and
you
Fizz
can...
is a fish. Well, actually, is he a fish or some sort of weird mammal, seafaring mammal? I don't know. I guess mermaids are technically seafaring mammals. Are they?
What? Otters can exist in the sea. They're called sea otters, but you also have river otters, which are the cuter ones. Let's have a little look at this replay, not argue about the best animal in the world.
We need a marine biologist. Sorry, comes...
I was like, what, to break this team fight down?
Well, there's an Ocean Soul. Broken coming up with a huge cleanup on the back end, and M-Test to finish it out. Great performance there from Unique.
Why did we employ?
I feel like that was, you know, like those Jonathan Pye segments where he goes completely on a tangent and he brings out his character, and in the end he wraps it up like going back to a normal news reporter. I feel like it's like that.
That was very Jonathan Pye. I'm sure a lot of our viewers from not the UK are probably not know who the hell we're talking about.
You should look at him. He's great.
He is funny. He is very funny. Anyway, looks like Unique are maybe going for a flawless game here. They want to pad those stats a little bit more as Royal is legendary 12-0-4 on the Orianna. Baron buff in the pockets of Unique. They haven't even got their front line, and they are pushing into this inhibitor. They do still have a wave to work with, but they're going to play it smart. They want to play it by the books.
Yeah, they've got the rest in the side lane, split pushing.
Yeah. You can see the pings going down on the Nexus. Vikings know where they need to destroy. All right.
Ooh, goodbye.
No, there's almost no point commentating these picks. They just blow them up.
We've only got one word. We have one word to say before they're blown up. You gotta pick your word carefully, Jake.
Bite.
Did you say bike?
No, bye isn't goodbye.
Oh, I think you said bike. I was like,
are they gonna do it? Is this the flawless game? No, Decision's doing his best to ruin that one. Here comes the shuffle backwards, instantly interrupted. The Ocean Soul's healing everybody up, and Viking are losing absolutely everything. Tower number 1's gonna go down. Tower number 2 under fire. Lambavert has come back to life and is looking to try and do something. Baloo dodging away on the Deadly Flourish. They've got the supers. The knockup's only going to hit the minions here. And Sharp trying his best as Kulborg is going to be locked down, taken out, and he can't even get into the Lamb's respite. That's going to be another kill. Gifted over to Unique. 22-0. Unique play a perfect game and round the game out. This is it. 2-1. Unique take the win.
Dominating is the only way we can describe that game. Crushing, destructive, pretty one-sided, and I think Unique firmly telling us that they definitely deserve top of their group and the victory today.
Questionable game 2 from them, I think, is fair, but it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they had a very, very clean third game, and with that, that is going to be Viking going down, and they're going down a bracket. They're not out. They're still in.
Yeah, they're in their losers bracket. They can still
they're in the losers bracket.
They can still make it out of groups, but Unique will be going to the quarterfinals as the first seed coming from their group, and deserved after that in performance. Honestly,
absolutely.
I feel like that game, we kind of got off topic a bit because it was so one-sided, but it was ridiculous how utterly crushing they were, considering game 1 and 2. Game 2 in particular, they lost, and even game 1 wasn't as clean a sweep as that. It was really just a one-sided performance where Unique clearly were tired of messing about.
Great one-sided performance there, but with that, we are going to throw to the desk to break down that series. So, Scoundrel, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, guys. What a statement to make from Unique in their third game. Gotta say, Royal, that game, what a smurf. What an absolute smurf. Like, unbelievable performance on the Oriana for Royal. And yeah, Unique were not messing around. They will qualify out of their group, and they have firmly proven Sweden greater than Norway. Anyway, so that game, the thing is, like, I'm struggling to figure out where we start with that game, because as Orcs did correctly say, it was incredibly one-sided. It didn't ever feel like they got a foot in the door, and Viking were just never able to compete.
Yeah, and I think it just came from how quickly they actually shut down people already from the bot lane. First blood coming through there just in a straight up 2v2. You could see they were way more comfortable playing into the Thresh of Eski rather than his Pantheon, and it just seemed like the Rakan into this one was working wonders, not only in the bot lane, but also in team fights, setting up Oriana perfectly as well with the CC combination you can lock them down with. And as you said, Royal Cannon looked miles better this game than he did the last one. He was not all down by and LeBlanc keeping him shut down in lane, Sharp not on the side all the time. It was him who was actually able to control the pace on a control mage, and he did more than that. He like predictions out of lanterns with shockwaves and just massive damage in fights. I think that Unique took a hard loss in game 2, and the fact that they recuperated and got back with the form they did in game 3, really impressive.
Yeah, I completely agree. And actually, obviously, as we come towards the end of the day, we've got a play that you've picked out here, Jamada, I think. So we're going to have a look through that play. Obviously, that game was just so one-sided. So we'll jump into that and see what we have to break down.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, what do we have? Oh, this is an old clip.
This is an old clip.
This is the counter gang from earlier today. I think this is play of the day. It was just a really nice attempt from C-Boy. Well, no attempt. C-Boy saved his mid lane here, plain and simple. And yeah, I mean, just in general on the series, Unique just seemed more awake come game 3. I think Viking kind of throughout the series, any way you look at it, they just kind of struggled from start to finish. And I don't know, that final game, it kind of just said to me, Unique, I don't know, they just came online far more than what I kind of expected come a game 3 after 2 really long games that were so drawn out.
It also just seemed like they kind of ran out of gas all of a sudden, because Viking still with Sharp and Sandia, I would expect them to come out the gates with gun blazing after taking that victory and the momentum they had in game 2, but it just felt like they just ran into a wall all of a sudden. And when they didn't get the ball rolling in the early game, they just kind of faltered, and that was the whole map. I don't know where I put Viking right now. They still seem in that spot where you feel like a new team and you're kind of finding out what works for you, because you saw in game 1 what didn't work for you, but they were still able to kind of come back in the late game, couldn't seal the deal. Game 2, really well played by Viking and really testing their limits and finding all the things they needed to. And then in game 3, it's like they kind of took a step back and had a hard time finding their footing onto that game. And I think it's just lack of actually playing together as a team, because you could see the coordination was just not there. People were being picked up left, right, and center. And as soon as you go down that slippery slope, it's really hard getting back up, especially as a new team. And I think they just felt that today.
Yeah, I think one of the big takeaways that I had watching that game is just how many isolated deaths happened for Viking over the course of the first 10 to 15 minutes of the game. Like, people getting picked off on every side of the map, even Sharp just getting caught out by himself. And it feels to me, when Sharp is not part of, when Sharp's not on something that has maybe more agency than Kindred, because I know Kindred has got agency, but, compare it to the Hecarim, where you have the ability to just drive the team fight the way you want. It feels like Viking are a little bit lost in the woods. They don't really know what to do. And I think you just saw when Unique want to turn it on, when they actually want to step up and play clean League of Legends like they did versus Cova yesterday, it's very easy for them to do so, especially when they get a comp that's that comfortable for them. Speaking of Unique, we have M-Test, who absolutely smurfed it in that second game despite not being able to win. So I'm going to bring him in for an interview and have a little chat to him.
Hello, guys. What's up?
Hey, M-Test. Oh, man, you look fashionable for. I
thought I dressed up for the occasion.
I appreciate it. Looking good, mate. Okay, talk to me a little bit about, because obviously me and Orcs covered you guys when you were playing in the tournament that was sort of qualifying towards the NLC, and you lost out to Cova, I believe, in that tournament. So what has been the evolution for Unique going from that tournament, coming to play Cova again and absolutely ruining them, to coming into playing up against Viking here as well? What has been the evolution of Unique over these last few months?
Well, I was not in the team.
No, yeah, I know that.
When they were playing Kova, but they have been talking a lot how they want to beat Kova, but they get that revenge. So I think we were very bloodthirsty today, and yesterday as well, right? And against Viking, I heard that they were like at the same level as Kova, but I felt like they were a lot better, like individually. But I think as long as we just have to play our comfort, and then it was just free from there. Like the draft in game 2 for us was just completely horrible. There is there's no way around it. Like Sof, our coach, is reported, but we just solved it for game 3, and then it was just easy sailing from there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously game 3 was clearly a dominant performance. I don't think I can say anything else other than that. How has it been for you then coming into Unique? What do you say the strengths are of your team as a whole? Like, if you were to point out like the biggest thing that makes you a strong contender in this competition, what would you say that your biggest strengths are as a team?
I think we just have a lot of fun playing. Like the moment we played with each other, like the first time, I felt like instant synergy, and I just have so much fun with these guys that it doesn't really feel. It just feels like I'm playing with 4 friends, and I never, like on a real note, I never really had that in another team. So I think this is like, it's just so much fun, and you don't even think about like, it just comes all naturally, really. So, and then we also have like a solid rock in the top with Zombie Kungen. He's just such a beast. I think that's like one strong point we have, but in all, I think we're pretty like good all around the team. So I can't really like say one factor that is like putting us out there in the top.
I'm certainly on the Unique hype train after today. I think I did you guys a disservice by voting against you. It will not happen again. But anyway, I think obviously there's some strong competition in the rest of the NLC full open. Have you looked at any of the other teams? Who would you consider like the biggest threat in the competition if you were to go the distance?
Honestly, I haven't really looked into other teams, to be fair. I know Barrage looks like on lineup they look like the scariest, right? They have Zenkax and Maxi. These guys are pretty good, but I don't really feel threatened by any team. I feel like we just have to, as long as we play our comfort and we play our game, it doesn't matter who we are facing.
Hey, I think that's a solid answer, and I think I'm certainly impressed. You guys are qualified now to the quarterfinals. We'll be seeing you later on in the competition, so looking forward to seeing how you stack up, and congratulations for qualifying out of your group in such good fashion as well. We'll see you there. I
just hope that in quarters, the analysts they're not gonna vote against us. You done this mistake once. I hope you're not gonna do it again next week.
No. Trust me, I'm a converted Unique fan, especially after this interview and test. I'm converted 100%. If I vote against you, you're never going to see it. You're never going to see it. And if I do, you feel free to call me out on Twitter. All right, I'm going to let you go, mate. Thank you so much for chatting to us.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon.
Have a great evening. Thank you. Bye.
I've never voted against them. I've never voted against them. I've been with them the whole way.
Gilbert, quite clearly he was referring to the important analysts, which was me. Anyway, I'm joking, mate. I'm joking. Okay, so I believe we already had a player of the day, but maybe we're going to get another one. Jamada, have we? Oh, we don't have a player of the day yet. I'm being told Max is just trolling me in my earpiece right now. But it was a fun day. I mean, to reflect on what we saw, obviously Unique doing really well. But our first series was also really good. It was great to see Dusty in action. Even though they also had a little bit of a wobble, they still look like a very strong team coming out of that group as well.
Yeah, I think Dusty. I think the Dusty shake was a little more surprising to me than Unique. Like, I think going into this series, we kind of expected Unique and Viking to go the distance, but I think more of us expected Dusty to just basically blow over Northern and White. So it kind of makes me wonder now when Dusty do take on some of the stronger teams later on down the line, how they're actually going to hold up, whether that was just like a small hiccup or not. But I think I've got confidence in Dusty. I've kind of pegged them as one of the couple of dark horses alongside Ents, but Ents kind of let me down, so we'll have to see how that goes.
No, I am being told Max is not trolling me anymore. We do have the play of the day ready. So I'm going to let you guys run through this. We can have a look at our play of the day now.
Yep. And should be. There you go. Tower dive from the first game in this series. And I mean, it's not really about the tower dive. It's the limit testing that comes after from Zendaya. Because I think on cast, everyone was shocked. Me, you, Excounter, and Goldberg, we didn't know how this man stayed alive so long. It's just Silas being an absolutely bonkers champion. And I mean, we get them just fighting. And then he goes back in and he heals and turns it around. And for me, this was kind of the moment where I was like, okay, maybe Viking can actually take this game. And that was the game that Viking managed to pick up too. So there you go. For me, that was kind of one of the moments in that game. Oh wait, no, Unique took them down in game 1, didn't they? Because that was game 1. So that's kind of sad. But hey, that was playing the series for me.
It was still a great play, regardless.
Irregardless of the result.
Yeah, regardless. Let's have a look at how our groups have turned out then so far. We'll start off with Group A on your screens. As you can see, Riddle got 2-0'd by Envision. So Envision have qualified out of Group A already, and Riddle will play the winner of XY versus Ent. Now, I personally would put my stock in Ent, even though they lost to Envision. I would say they're likely to be XY. Gulbog, would you say that's a fairly accurate assessment?
I'll be honest, I haven't looked proper enough into those teams, but I'm not even going to throw a coin. Last time I said Ent, and Envision just took them 2-1, so I mean, it's up for grabs, really.
I'm gonna use pure transit properties here and say that Riddle 2-0'd XY, Envision 2-0'd Riddle, but Ent's actually got a game off Envision, so they must be all right. So I'm gonna go with pure transit properties and say it's an Ent's win.
Nice.
But yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Should we have a look at Group B? And you can see here that Unique, we just saw them qualified from Group B here. Yeah, my English is pretty bad for 6 hours of talking. We're going to have PK versus Kova going on in the elimination match, with the winner then going on to play Viking to decide who gets qualified out of Group B. Again, I don't know much about PK, but I know Gulbug is a PK specialist. That matchup versus Kova, how do you see that one going?
Ooh, Denmark, that's an easy win for us on the bid table right there.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I think that speaks
should
the whole
have
bracket,
known.
really. I think PK just go all the way if you're Goldberg. If you're Goldberg.
I should have seen it. Okay, moving over to Group C. And you're going to see that we have M&M versus Absolved, with Barrage very cleanly sailing through versus Team Singularity to qualify from that group. No surprises, I think, with Barrage making it out. But M&M versus Absolved is going to be a bit of a banger, in my opinion. Jamada, obviously you're a bit of an M&M fanboy. You have to be until the day you die. Are you kind of expecting M&M to do well here?
They have given me too much. I have to. I think M&M stand a pretty solid chance against Absolve. I don't think this is 2-0 like from either side. Like I don't think M&M 2-0's Absolve. I don't think Absolve 2-0's M&M. That being said, I was really impressed from what I saw from SNG, like the adaptation, mid-series versus Absolved as well. I kind of see SNG making it out of this group, as much as I love the Marshmallow Boys. My heart's telling me M&M. My brain is telling me I feel like SNG probably edged this one out.
It's going to be interesting. This is definitely going to be a bit of a spicy group to keep our eyes on. Group C, it's why we kind of followed it to begin with as well, because I just think got a bit of spice in the lower bracket here to work with for Group C. But we'll see how that plays out over the next couple of days. Let's look over at Group D to end things off, and you will see we have Tricked versus Nordavind Black, two teams that I think most people expected to end up doing much better in this group. And they are now going to face elimination tomorrow, one of them. And then the winner will then have to go and face Nordavind White, who I think were not on most people's radars to even make it this far in the group. They were the ones that I think most people were expecting to get eliminated first out of the entire 4 teams that we have in this particular group. Gulborg, that's going to be a really interesting matchup.
Yeah, it definitely is, and a lot of people already had Tricked out of the gates for this one. Do you still favor Tricked in this one a slight, because I think it was some silly mistakes that made them lose to Dusty or to Nordavind White initially, which I hope they will have fixed up. But Nordavind Black as well, they have something to prove. They made a lot of basic mistakes, so really 2 teams that has to overcome themselves playing against each other.
Okay, well, I was just in the middle of stretching. Sorry, everyone. You might have just seen that. Anyway, it's been a long day, guys. It has been a long day. Another 6-game banger here on the NLC mainstream. We are going to be going into some more best of threes tomorrow at the same time, same place. You will see all 4 series covered across the NLC and the UKEL streams, of which you'll be able to find out where the series that are going to be played on either stream announced over on our social media channels. So make sure you keep an eye on the NLC social media channels to ensure you know which games are being played on which stream. But for the time being, we're going to love you and leave you, and we'll see you tomorrow.